thought it was. Okay, this is the Audi 7s just struggling.
Again, coming back at pretty low speed, so it's a long way back. He pretty much pulled over at the start of the lap.
Yeah, he was in at the S's, wasn't he? But yeah, disappointing.
So is that Rob Bell finally getting it? He seems to have been in this car a long time, so I guess he's switching over. Full service, new tyres, fuel tank done. So he's handed that car. He's brought that car up really well, up to 3rd place now. They had dropped right down the order, but he's in with 2 new drivers, 2 rookies to Le Mans. So it was always going to be a difficult task for him.
He's on his way again, though. Shiny Ferrari. Audi just, they must just wonder what they've got to do this year. Okay, so this is, as Peter was just saying, this is the 84 car. This is Frederick Sisset, quadruple amputee, as you can see there. Anthony Davison tweeting earlier on that he's just got huge respect for what this guy is going out there and doing and achieving a lifetime's ambition of competing at Le Mans. And he was lowered into the car there, and he was then lifted out. Now, you might be wondering, how is he going to get out of that car in that situation? His seat has got compressed air underneath it, so he presses a button or something if he's stuck, and it basically lifts him up, a bit like an ejector seat. This is the 40... Was that the 46 car? I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pits.
They were our leaders, weren't they? Remember, because those first 3 were only 26 seconds apart. So he was the leader in that category. He's obviously dropped to 2nd, and Menzies goes in. Will Stevens might get past him as well into the... Got a feeling this is Will Stevens coming towards us.
Yeah, it's right in front of us now.
Yeah, this is Will Stevens, and Will Stevens could go up to 2nd. Yep, again, pit stop strategy and everything like that. And the pit stop strategy and everything will change it around, and we're about to hit halfway. 12 hours and 5 seconds has been complete. We are on the verge of half distance of the 24 hours of Le Mans. We are now into the 2nd half of the race. The 84th running of the Le Mans 24 hours. It's a 2016 edition. And from now on, you're heading home. It's a long way to go still, but you are kind of right. We've got this far.
And that takes us to our halfway point of our stint here in the commentary box. 3 more hours of us, I'm afraid.
Yeah, unfortunately for you lot listening, mainly in the States at the minute. There's a couple of Australians being on the Twitter and Instagram and everything like that. Twitter, not more Instagram. But I'm just thinking it's 3 o'clock in the morning in mainland Europe and 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK. So there is a lot of people still around the world tuning in and listening, which is brilliant. We are talking, we are going quite not off script, so to speak. We are answering questions that people want answering, which is, I think, is important.
Well, this is the slot. This is the graveyard slot where we answer these questions, because obviously you can't see all that much out there, and nothing much is changing. Okay, we're getting the odd breakdowns from number 7. Fassler just broken down again.
I'm going to say, I'm waiting for him to come into the pits. He hasn't even got round here yet.
No.
If you wonder how we split up the shifts within the 2 commentary teams, the Audi number 8 is waiting as well.
That's Holly Jarvis.
Yeah.
Currently out in that one.
But
sitting 2 laps down from the leader, Kobayashi.
He didn't seem to have been out in that car for very long, but yeah, basically we split up the shifts. We've got 24 hours of racing, so we'll do, and we start half an hour before the start, and there's the Audi. Is that the Audi?
That's smoking coming out the back, isn't it? Yeah.
But I don't know whether, is that an Audi or not? It looked like it had a white bottom.
I think it has to be.
It is a 7, yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it is a 7. We basically have a 25-hour broadcast, half an hour before the start, half an hour after the finish, and we split it exactly down the middle. And 2 years ago, when I worked on Le Mans with Peter, we did this shift, the 12 midnight to 6 a.m. And we picked it again. And then Peter, just before we started broadcasting, once we decided what shifts were going, he goes, how come we've ended up with the same shift again? And I said, because we picked it. So there was a bit of a calculation error there when we were picking our shifts.
On the plus side, we should be quite tired by the time we get off air. So
yeah, because I wasn't tired at midnight.
Yeah.
I was not tired at midnight. The Audi 8 is in. This is the one that's running okay. It's currently running in 4th place. Flash of the headlights. He's obviously spotted his pit man. And I asked you about that, didn't I, in the qualifying session. What do you do? It's quite quiet in the pit lane right at this minute. But how do you know exactly when to turn in, and particularly when it's busy? And
that is the trickiest time, when it is busy. But you've kind of recorded a few visual kind of reference points that you can refer back to when it is busy. And as long as you've got them in your mind when you come in, now it's dead easy because he's the only car there, and his pit man is waving this lollipop around, and he knows exactly where to go. But yeah, when it's very busy, then you really have to know where you are in the pit lane as far as how far down the pit lane. Audi, again, pretty easy because they're near the end. So yeah, that's the sort of thing you do. It's natural to think about these things as a driver. It's part of the process.
And I tell you what I did kind of find fascinating was a conversation that you were having that I was listening into as Jarvis is on his outlap. We're still waiting for the 7 car to make it back to the pits, going very slowly with some kind of issue. Braking points, markers and braking points, landmarks, you say there's 2 types of breakers. There's the natural breaker, which is in your stomach of, oh, I need to brake now,
yeah,
or landmarks.
Yeah. And
yeah, the 7 car is in the pits. We're going to come back to natural braking and points. The 7 car is on pit road. So I think Anthony is in the pits as well. So I don't know where exactly he is. I suspect he's at Audi. And we'll see what we can find out. But that's about the speed it's gone. And what did we see earlier on was stuck. Yeah, we're ready, Anthony. Let's go to you.
Yes, I'm in a Ferrari garage, not Audi. I'm with Emmanuel Collard, 22nd participation here at Le Mans. You are always very, very fast, and we've seen that as well. So, so far, it's running well?
Yes, we just had a beginning gearbox problem, so we lost 2 laps. But we are catching at the front, so it's not so bad at the moment.
And we've seen as well that you are very important in the team. I mean, you drive a lot. So is it something strategical?
Yeah, we try to triple stint every time with me and we during the night, so it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can see that for your foot, for instance, then it's not that easy. Yeah.
No, especially with the foot on the braking, we press a lot the brakes. 90 bar on every braking, so it's painful at the end.
And what is the aim at the end of the race? Is the win possible for you?
You never know here. It's never finished. We were 10 hours ago. Now we are fighting for the podium, so we still have a long way to go.
Thank you very much, Manu.
Thank you for that. That's great. Right, the number 7 car came into the pits. It took ages to get into the pits. Its last lap, 14 minutes, 38 seconds, compared to what it should be doing at 3 minutes, 30-ish. And they changed the driver, they put the fuel in, they changed the tyres, and obviously did something else because it's now going at full speed.
Yeah.
Or unless it ran out of fuel.
No, I can't believe that. But what you did see there, and it's still registering Fassler in the car, but it's actually Lotterer. On the driver's helmet jack point, it registers his ID, and Lotterer forgot to plug his in. You could see him grabbing it just after he left the pits and plugging it in. and that's basically next time round it will register that it's him in the car. And it kind of shows you how flustered they are. That's something that he would never forget, and he's forgotten it. You know, it's just not going well for car 7. So it'd be nice to know why they were pulled. Fassler was pulled over for so long, and then he came round real slow, and then the car just fired up as normal.
Okay, this is the 69. Yep, that is the 69 Ferrari. This is in Ferrari Ford. It is in second place behind the Ferrari. The 82 Ferrari has just been into the pits and is now on an outlap. So virtually on the same kind of strategy-wise, coming in. Just the gap between them is in the pits is the time it's taking for them to catch, which is approximately 40 odd seconds at the moment when that Ford came in. So they are on their way back out. But that number 7 Audi's trundling around 14 minutes. It's like 11 minutes off the pace for one lap, and then
judging by
whizzing out.
Yeah, judging by his second sector, it's not that quick right enough, but he's kind of back at a sort of normal pace.
I got a feeling with just that, it's just been a change of position. Is that Joey Hand who's just gone past? It's a Ford overtaking a Ford. It's got to go to the next. Will it update to the next sector?
Because Briscoe's just left the pits. So that's a change of position, second, third. But obviously Joey Hand on a different pit strategy, and if I'm honest, I can't remember whether he's. I guess he has stopped, hasn't he? What do you reckon?
Which one? Yeah, we know that the 69 pitted. Joey Hand must be pitting at some point.
Right, yes, and Stefan Muka is currently in the pits, so he's pitting from 6th place. That's the car that had the slight issue with the
number, wasn't it?
The number, yeah.
What I don't understand, Audi number 7 have just tweeted, fuel, new tyres, back out, and back without going into the garage. So they managed to fix something on that car that they can do in pit road.
Yeah, it could just be
a reset or something.
Plug in the computer, reset, and go.
So that's it. So it is Kobayashi. Just to look at the front of the field, Kobayashi leading, Roman Domain second, Anthony Davis in third, Ollie Jarvis in fourth. Then it's the Rebellion of Krennerhammer is in 5th place with the 7 Audi in 6th. Right, got some more tweets come in. Watching from Philadelphia, do you think the BOP adjustment, the last minute refusal hurt Corvette's pace this year? Well, Peter's more au fait with BOP, balance of performance, etc. But it does seem, if we're totally honest with you, that Corvette have just
got a break.
Yeah, and it's still not worked.
And it's still not enough. Whereas, we talked about the Aston, they've got the same brake. And, they're not. Sorensen in the Aston is not on the pace of the 3 cars ahead. But he is still 4th. So, Chevy are coming back. As Ricky Taylor was talking about, they're running their own race. They're not worried about anyone else, which is the right thing to do. We're halfway through. Anything can happen up the front. And it's not always the quickest team that win it. It's the ones that survive. They do the right job as drivers. They're reliable and experienced around the track. And those Corvette guys are, and winners last year with Ollie Gavin. So, no, certainly not over. But impressive from Ferrari, taking the fight to Ford. Lap time wise, Malicelli's been doing a good job. He's had a troubled last couple of years. He was one of the chosen boys at Ferrari for a while, and he had a couple of dodgy episodes in Sebring and in Daytona where, sizable shunts, which kind of took him off the radar a little bit, and they brought him home and they maybe put him into some Italian GT, and here he is back in one of the main cars. and leading the race. So it's good to see that he's back. He was always a fast driver, but I think he just got unlucky a couple of times over in the States and made the wrong call. I remember him spinning at the first corner at Sebring and pulling back onto the circuit and basically getting collected by another car because he really didn't look where he was going. So everyone makes mistakes, as I've already said. So, you know, unfortunate there, but it's good that he's back in the car and doing a good job, and hopefully he can carry on doing that job.
That's it. Oh, I don't know what was really going on there. There's two GT cars with a P, I think it was a P2 car. Basically was trying to get out of the way of something else, and in the end had to be they didn't, no one clipped each other or anything. Yeah, the P2 car was trying to get out of the way of the rebellion, and in the end kind of blocked quite a few other things through. Yeah, so we've got Philadelphia, which was that last question. We've got Colorado. Who do you think will, this is Trip Starkey, who do you think will have the best reliability in the final 12 hours? Well, there's three top line P1 hybrid cars, and I'm not going to name names, but there's one team out of those that has so far had a good run, because the other two have had some problems.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Rather than naming names.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that's the thing this year. There's Toyota have got their normal two cars here. Porsche one fewer car than last year, and Audi one fewer car. So it kind of brings the numbers down a bit, and it, you know, it makes it possible for one of the guys that you don't expect to do well to actually do well. So here we have a Rebellion, number 13, sitting in 5th place right now, and all it takes is a couple of dodgy episodes ahead with anyone, and all of a sudden they could be on the podium overall at Le Mans 24 Hours, which, you know, would be a great achievement. As far as the other cars, Toyota, to me, they have the pace, and I would like to see them do well, but I just don't know about the reliability. And in the past with the Porsche, okay, we've had problems with car 1, but so far car 2's gone pretty well, and, you know, they won last year. I don't know, it's a hard one to call. Lotterer's going real quick now as well. You know, he's
frustration, isn't it?
Maybe that's what it is. He's just driving the wheels off the thing.
Yeah, he's driving the wheels off. He's trying to break it so they can just go home.
Well,
they're
yeah,
so fed
one or
up.
the other.
But a question for you here from Jason Anthony. Peter, you've driven GT1 cars. Are today's GT class cars close to the same level as the old GT1s?
Again, if we go back, I'm sure I saw someone mention that actually. The pace of the sort of 2008 GT1 cars around here were similar to what they're doing now in GTE. So yeah, technology has brought them forward. You know, these new Fords and Ferraris, they're blinding bits of kit. They're totally designed for the new regulations. They've done a fantastic job. In fact, such a good job that they've had to peg them back because Corvette, Aston and Porsche can't keep up. So they've had to level them off with the BOP. So yeah, these new ones are good, but I mean, there's been different. GT1 as a class has changed so many times over the years. I mean, those Porsches from back in '98 that won here, they were GT1 cars. So, you know, the class itself has changed. Then GT1 came as a world championship in 2010. I was driving in Nissan then. We still had sequential gearbox, no paddle shifts. We had no ABS, no traction control. And those Nissan GTRs were fantastic to drive, 2010, 2011. But then they killed themselves because, again, it was costing too much money. And GTE has reigned supreme at Le Mans. And then there's GT3 happening pretty much everywhere else in the world. So, yeah, I think there still is a place for both. But you know, I can see the future maybe being GT3 cars more rather than GTE cars.
Right, I mean, we're getting loads of this. We're getting loads of stuff in, which is great because people obviously are watching us, which is really important, and people obviously, well, hopefully enjoying it, but getting some answers to questions that they want. Now, Anthony Peacock, who is actually one of probably the most frustrated people in the world right now, because he's at the European Grand Prix. And would much prefer to be at Le Mans, because Le Mans is highlight of the year. But he's at the Grand Prix of Europe, which is in Baku, in Azerbaijan. We just watched the Signatech 36 car, didn't really.
Yeah, we're just getting a replay of the Ford chicane, and it just gives an example of the curb that they're taking there.
We're going through a replay situation because it's normally on the turn of the hour. Anyway, going back to Anthony Peacock, he's been up all night. He's been at the Grand Prix all day in the paddock, and he's been up all night. And he reckons he's not the only one within the Formula One fraternity who have been up all night. But he has an intriguing possibility. It couldn't happen this year, or it was easily made a decision. And bear with me when I go through this one. You touched on it. Porsche have come with only 2 cars this year. Last year they came with a 3rd car. The 3rd car wasn't meant to win, but did. Earl Bamber, Nick Tandy, Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg is doing the Grand Prix. And did we hear somewhere this week, or was I making this up or completely?
We have heard things, yes.
Yeah,
what do you want to know?
Well, what we heard was, because there was a Grand Prix on, it was quite easy to make a decision of only 2 Porsches.
Right, yeah.
So they didn't have to worry about upsetting drivers. But theoretically, because Azerbaijan is 2 hours further forward than us, Anthony Peacock's worked out that Nico Hülkenberg potentially could have done like the practice and the qualifying, done his time, gone back to Baku to do free practice 1, free practice 2, come back to Le Mans, and he then could have done his. He could have arrived about 6 p.m. on Saturday here to do the Le Mans race, drive Le Mans for a few stints, leave Sunday mid-morning, and be back in Baku for the Grand Prix start at 5 p.m. That would have been some kind of movement for Nico Hülkenberg. So it was. I know Nico Hülkenberg was very, very disappointed that he couldn't come back. But our Anthony, not Anthony Peacock, our Anthony in the pits has got somebody.
Yes, I'm in the Audi garage next to Dr. Ulrich to have a bit of update about the 7 car and the number 8 as well. So Dr. Ulrich, how is it going so far for the number 7? We didn't really understand what happened.
Yeah, the number 7 car just had a problem after braking too late and going straight in a corner. Then he stopped and didn't manage to engage first gear. But then he started to drive on the electric power only, and then he could engage the first gear and continue.
Okay, so that was not that. So that's good news. And regarding the number 8, still in the hunt for the win, so that's pretty good after some issues earlier on.
Yeah, there have been some small issues. Basically, the car number 8 is running. We have been struggling a little bit with the speed when the temperatures went down, but I think we will improve if the day is coming back.
And we can say that, of course, it's not a surprise for you maybe, but Toyota is really fast this year, and the hunt for the victory is, as ever, really, really hard.
No, this is not a surprise for us. I always said that I rate Toyota and Porsche on a very, very high level. They have done a great job, and until now they are running quick and reliant, and this is the reason why they are in front. And this is as well the Porsche. He's a little bit quicker, and we will see how it runs to the end.
Last question. We know that usually Audi runs 3 cars. Did it change something in your strategy to have only 2 cars this year?
No, it didn't change anything. It's the same situation for everybody. Everybody has 2 cars.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Anthony. We got news just on our screen. A 1-minute stop-and-go penalty for car 55.
So that's, yeah, Aaron Scott in 6th place. Car, unfortunate for him, first time here. We were talking to him a couple of days ago. Him and Matt Griffin sharing a car, and Duncan Cameron. Unfortunate for him, but yeah, I'm not sure quite what happened there. He must be, you know, he's a very experienced driver away from Le Mans, so he knows the situation. And they were doing quite well, gradually coming up the order. Of course, a long way to go, so no big problems at the moment. And 1 minute is not it's not the end of the world, is it? But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to halt the run for a little while. This is car 55, the Aaron Scott car, yes.
Right, now you're friends with these people, but Wikipedia have got some great stuff on that car. Wikipedia's got some great stuff. The Duncan Cameron, according to Wikipedia, I've studied it, but I'm going to blame Wikipedia if it's wrong. He had a 47%.
Oh, one second. Let's just look at that. That was a position change. That was Townsend Bell just going by the Porsche of 88 Al Qubaisi. So position change. First place to Townsend Bell now in the GT Am. So first time Ferrari's been in the lead of this race, isn't it? I mean, Porsche's been up there the whole time, it seems.
Yeah. So Ferrari now up in there. Ferrari now leading both GTE categories, which is in the round 1 and 2 of the championship has been a regular thing, but this weekend hasn't. So Ferrari's first in both categories there. Going back to the 55 car, Duncan Cameron. If Wikipedia is wrong, I do apologise. He had a 47% stake in moneysupermarket.com, which he sold in 2007 for £162 million.
Wow.
Describes himself as a bloke with kids who likes to race. Well, with that kind of money, you can race. Aaron Scott, he is a racing driver coach. His ambition has always been to race at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So he's achieving one of his lifetime ambitions.
Excellent. And I've got another bit of knowledge. His father is one of the clerks of the course in British racing. And yeah, in fact, I've raced under his father at times as well.
Keeping an eye on you.
Yeah. And his sister, 3 years ago, did the television job for us down in the pit. She did all the interviewing. Gemma Scott.
Okay.
There you go.
2 years ago, was she the lady who drove us back to the airport?
Yes, and she drove us to the airport.
She drove us to the airport, right.
And we made it. We made our flight.
Well, I had a bit more time than you guys. You just ran like the wind to get there. The 36 car, that is our leader in P2. That is into the pits. Just one more.
Gustavo's been in that car
a long time,
hasn't he?
Yeah,
I think we've seen same tires, same driver, surely.
When it gets ready, so Mark Lieb getting ready now. He will step aboard the number 2 Porsche, which is 47, 48 seconds away.
Well, has been catching. That last lap, he's lost a little bit of time, but it's been gradually reeling in Kobayashi.
To finish off with this, and Matt Griffin, obviously you know quite well, the only Irishman to stand on the podium at Le Mans. Obviously, a podium as in not just the main podium, but obviously each category gets to stand on the podium. So the only Irishman to stand on the podium there. But yeah, this is the 5 car. This is Davison in the pits now. So we've got a round of pit stops going on. But yeah, Dumas was starting to, well, he kind of for a while has been clawing a little bit of time back on Kobayashi, but Kobayashi does seem very, very strong. So the Toyotas do seem very strong. I don't know why, but at night, I mean, there is very busy sections of the track where there's a lot of cars around, but bearing in mind, there is only, when I go down my list, still, bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are, let's just see, we are nearly 12 and a half hours into this race, and we've got 4 cars with S's against their name, basically meaning stopped. So still 56 running. It's quite staggering, 12 and a half hours in.
That is impressive. That's very, very unusual. Considering that rain at the start, I mean, we've had nice weather since then, and it's rubbered the track up. So we've got another stop-go penalty
You know who
for
that is?
26.
That's the G-Drive car. That was the car that was in, when I flicked my results back, that's the car that was in second place, I think, or third place in second place car.
Will Stevens, yeah.
1 minute, and for car 27 as well.
Right, so there's been a spate of them. That's Maurizio Mediani. So
3 stop and goes there, 3 different crews.
that is interesting because well, you know, I kind of referred to that before, how when you get a glut of them like that, it means that something's not quite right.
Number 1 Porsche just on pit road, but carry on.
Yeah, I think that it could be a number of things, but you know, for several drivers to have missed it and to all get penalised at the same time, then yeah, there's a reason for that normally.
Okay, just getting news from Anthony in the pits. The 84 car has a clutch problem.
Smoking bricks from number 1 as well.
Tell you what, I can't even remember who's in this one car now. Hartley.
Right, yeah, remember he had issues in it.
I didn't know whether
And,
it was so long ago when he first got in that car.
He had a lot hanging around, and then he had to go out and do his whatever triple or quadruple stint.
Brendan Hartley got into that car. We went and had dinner when we finished at 9. We then went down into the paddock, had a bit of a look around the paddock, came back. I sat on this crate outside the commentary box and watched the cars for a bit. Yeah. And then I went into the TV truck to watch all the monitors. Brendan Hartley got in his car then. And I thought, you said you're going to go and have a bit of a rest, to lie down. And I looked at my watch and I thought, an hour before we're back on air. So this is 11 o'clock. And I thought, right, just when it gets to 11 o'clock, I'm going to go to my caravan and have a bit of a rest. And that was when Brendan came back into the pits. Was just around the 11 o'clock mark. It's 3:30 now. He's hardly done any laps, but he's been in and out of that car.
Yeah. Apart from it, I bet he's starving.
I bet he's starving. Yeah. Well, I don't know. He did have a couple of breaks. He had nearly an hour after one lap.
I think he had like fish and chips or something.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, I bet he's. God, and as you say, it must be so frustrating and so soul destroying, because anything can happen in motor racing, but.
But for that car to come back from 24th to be out on the podium.
49th now. 49th after the second, because he went back in, remember, for 45, 50 minutes.
So, yeah.
And as you say, it's...
Still, at the end of the day, he's being paid to do a job. And his job is to drive that car
as fast as he possibly can.
And, you know, if he can somehow take away the fastest lap or something, that's the last thing he's got to hold on to. He can have the fastest lap of the race.
It's
so more time off Kobayashi. 6 seconds off him that lap. Obviously,
low fuel.
Bit of traffic from him, and Dumas just took 6 seconds off him. Davidson in car number 5 now. My lap chart's gone out the window.
The lap chart
completely lost track of when people are stopping.
A lap chart's gone out the window.
All we know,
Twitter has gone crazy.
Right.
Twitter has gone crazy.
Well, let's answer some quick Twitter questions.
At least we're keeping people happy. I mean, the number 6 is in. This is the Kobayashi car. So they're giving a bit of a cleaning up the numbers and everything. Is that damage on the side, just above there? No, maybe not. Just looked a bit...
They're looking at the brakes. Yeah, just general check over.
Getting themselves sorted. Kobayashi staying in the car. This man's not... It's not a gun he's got. That's a starter, isn't it? The little thing that looked like a gun out the back. There was a mechanic stood there with just what looked like it looked like a pressure washer handle.
Right.
But I suspect it's the starter that you maybe put in the back if the car fails. But Dumas now in front. But he will be due a pit stop, but that's purely simply because Kobayashi has been stopped. Dumbrek_fan. Most of your listeners are from the US, so I think we have to have a shout hello to Tokyo. So we're in Japan as well now. We're big in Japan.
Excellent. We love Japan.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I went to Japan 3 or 4 times. I did struggle in Japan.
You what?
I did struggle in Japan. I was so bad in Japan.
Oh, you needed
Tomoko
Tomoko to show you around Tokyo.
I don't do sushi or anything. I was so bad in Japan. I got better.
Yeah, but I'm not a sushi eater. But you can eat.
Man.
You can eat pretty much anything there. It's a big city. And the food is tremendous.
I ate McDonald's.
Oh,
That's all I did. The first 2 years I was there, I ate McDonald's. Oh man, I did in the end. What is it, teppanyaki, when you cook your own meat?
Teppanyaki.
Yeah, I did that in the end.
Oh, do you mean
when you boil your own meat or something?
boiling? Yeah, it's teppanyaki.
Yeah, I've done that. But that was a
or
shabu
shabu.
Shabu.
One of those.
Yeah, shabu.
Tomoko, you don't need to answer that question. It's okay.
Yeah. We've done that. We've done that. I've done Japan. Right, here we go.
Teppanyaki is a Korean barbecue. That's the cooking the meat on the kind of grill.
So it must be.
That's my favourite. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I had it in the boiling
bit
water.
Of rice. That's shabu shabu, I think.
Shabu, right, okay. Well, we'll get an answer if we're wrong on that one as we continue. The gap between Dumas and Kobayashi is 26.5 seconds. This is the G-Drive car. This car has either served it's a 1 minute penalty, so it probably can wait there, can't it, afterwards? Or not?
No. Normally it has to come
back
separately, and this looks like. Or is it waiting and they're allowed to clean the window?
Well, no, they're putting fuel in as well, so
it has to come back then.
Yeah. Here is, I don't know 100% the answer to this question. That's why you're in the commentary box with me, Peter. But the gentleman is right. I think it's Zach Buchan. Why do GT cars run yellow headlights? Also, can you do a shout out for the members of F1, Model F1 Subreddit? Model F1
subreddit.
Okay, right. Obviously he has pointed out, and if you're new to Le Mans, the P1 and the P2 cars have white headlights, which you can see right up the back of this Aston Martin. This is one of our Porsches. Now, when you go past, you can see yellow headlights, which is on the GTE cars. It's pure and simply, I believe, just to distinguish at high speed.
Yeah.
What is coming or what is not coming.
And for many reasons. If there's a GT car behind you, you obviously they're not coming as quick as a P1 would be coming, and you want to know if the P1 is coming because there's been some massive crashes here in the past. Anthony Davidson's a few years back when he basically broke his back down on the way down to Mulsanne Corner. There was a tangle between him and a Ferrari, and so these things happen, and they do what they can do to stop them. And one of the things is having different light colors, and it's very difficult to stop them completely. But I'm going to knock on wood because so far so good. There's been very few accidents in this race. It's almost unheard of.
I'd say there's been the odd person into the gravel and things like that. Now,
but again, going back to I've mentioned it quite a few times because I was out on the track yesterday morning. It seems like it was a week ago now, but driving around in the Aston Martin Vulcan, and the changes since I last drove here. So we've got Danny Watts in the pits now from P5 and LMP2. There's so many areas now that are safer, bigger runoffs. Areas in the past that were very unforgiving, and if you got slightly offline and lost it, you're going to have a big shunt in the wall and your car would be written off. Nowadays, you can run wide, go in these gravel traps, the car doesn't hit the wall, you can get it dragged out and you can get back in the race.
So, I mean, when I watched Le Mans as a little kid, most of the cars had yellow headlights because French road cars had yellow headlights.
Yeah, true.
So, and I don't know whether whether that's where some of, if we dig really deep far back, that it keeps a bit of a real French flavour into it, and also it's a great identification of two categories of car. But that is the main reason. It's so you can decipher who is coming up behind you. between the two categories of car, or the difference between P cars and GTE cars. Chris Stacey, yeah. Bet the 1 minute penalty is for the 55 car speeding in the slow zone. Knew it looked suspect. He did tweet in saying that he'd seen one of the cars going really, really quickly. Right, here's one. JC, man. Is it really difficult to get a hotel in the area during the race?
Yes, prices go up. I tell you what, I don't know, one day someone will calculate what this race is worth to this area, well, and it's massive.
We were talking to a team yesterday, £279 a night. Was it they were paying in their hotel?
Or euros.
Euros, sorry, euros.
Yeah.
€279 a night. And it's a minimum booking of 7 nights. You can't just book for 3. It's 7 nights.
Yeah.
And that's a team with 112.
It was high, and it was 190 odd.
190 people.
It was Aston. It was Aston's.
I wasn't going to say the name, but you did. So, but yeah, it's you know what I mean. It's a huge hotel bills. I've got a caravan in the TV compound. It's very nice. I like my caravan. But drivers, as Peter's touched on earlier, there is static caravans in the paddock that drivers can rent and things like that. Some drivers have their big old motorhomes. This is the leading car in the pits, the Dumas car. So Kobayashi will go back into the lead. It's a full service. It's a driver change. Mark Lee, we did see him standing around. Now he's leaned back in, and that is Dumas' seat. Obviously, Rowan Dumas. I thought he'd knocked the marshal over, the mechanic over, but he hasn't. Serving the 1 minute stop and go whilst in the pits. So I kind of thought, like you, that's kind of, they're gaining a bit of time because they don't have to slow down in the pit lane and accelerate in the pit lane, do they? A second time.
Again, I don't. You know, maybe if we went next door to speak to John Hindhoff, he would know.
Okay, Anthony has some work as that number 2 car gets a full service. Let's go down to our pit lane reporter.
You spoke about nationalities, and I want to give an update from a US team with Johannes van Overbeek in the Extreme Speed Motorsport team. So, Johannes, how is the race going so far in the P2 category for you?
It's going well. The Paul Mitchell car is running well. Sadly, we're not in our normal Patron livery. But pretty smooth sailing at the moment. Luckily, the weather cleared up. And we had some setbacks for both cars early on, but we're trying to make our way forward.
How is the car working? I mean, the Ligier, is it a good car to handle?
It's a great car to drive, comfortable to drive. We're just really lacking some straight line speed to the Orcas. But anyhow, it's nice to drive, and you know, more than halfway done. So just hopeful we can have a second half of the race that's safe and successful.
Yeah, even if the start of the race was not that successful, as I said, are you proud to race here in Le Mans for a lot of years now?
It's great to be here. It's great to be back. Especially this year, my family's here, and now I gotta go. So.
Okay, thank you, Johannes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you understood. So he had to prepare himself to drive. So Johannes van Overbeek is really happy to be here. But yeah, we won't have the end of the interview.
That's okay. I think driving is far more important. So just to clarify, at the top of the leaderboard, it's just come up there on your screen. Kobayashi in the number 6 Toyota has gone back ahead of the number 2 Porsche. But the number 2 Porsche now has a new driver in it. That's Mark Lieb. He is in. Anthony Davison is in 3rd place overall. The gap at the front, it will just kind of like shake itself out, but it's around 46 seconds at the moment. And new tyres on this Porsche, new driver, full tank of fuel. Kobayashi has a full tank of fuel, but the same tyres and the same driver.
With Davidson back to 1 minute 24 off Kobayashi. So, you know,
it's closing up, isn't it? I know
up.
Davidson's obviously got to stop again, but those first two, they are kind of, as that is kind of real time, because Kobayashi only stopped a lap or two before the Porsche.
Going back to just observation of the P2 class and what Van Overbeek said there about the Ligier maybe a bit down on straight line speed. Well, funnily enough, there's 5 Ligier at the foot of the LMP2, and so we've got Alpina, Orica, Gibson, Alpina, you know. So, and car 27 reported for speeding. That's Mediani. He was in trouble short time ago as well, wasn't he? So yeah, the Ligier doesn't seem to be the best car to have around here, but you know they're making the best of it, doing a good job, and just getting on with it and trying to get to the end of the race.
That's it. We were answering a question as well. I can't remember who it was who asked the question. Oh yeah, JC Man about hotels. Yeah, the static homes in the back of the paddock which drivers rent and things like that. The big teams have drivers' rooms. Your top P1 cars have drivers' rooms within the hospitality, which the drivers can sleep in. But Porsche and Audi will have hotels. I know the Porsche drivers do stay actually in Le Mans. The team are a bit further out of town, but the drivers are in Le Mans.
And a lot of the team members are here for you know, 2.5 weeks to 2.5 to 3 weeks, when you include the test day and the preparation before it, and then the pack up tomorrow. It is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, the teams are here a long time, and obviously every day they spend here, it costs more money, and there's hotels and there's this and there's that. So, you know, for this area, this race is absolutely massive. And yeah, going back to what you said about, I know from previous years these static homes. So there's like 2 and 3 bedroom little static homes in this driver compound, and they're like for the week there's something like £3,000 to £4,000 to rent.
That's it. It's a money-making machine, isn't it? It costs a lot of money to put this event on, but they do get it back. I mean, Giles, who's our commentator in the other team, he's come down here with some friends, and they've brought a big motorhome down there, and there's 4 of them sharing the motorhome. So real family atmosphere. We went round there last night, didn't we? And we chewed the fat. Talked about stuff, and just people just generally hang out and just socialize. It's a real, if you've not been to them, all these people in America, all these people in Japan and South Africa, if you've not been here, you've got to sample it. You really have, because there is a motor race goes on, but there's a fun fair, there's a fans village. It's just, and get a motorhome, get a tent. There's a great camping. I mean, yeah.
Bring your welly boots.
Get your Wellingtons.
And your rain jacket as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Neil Yanni must have been somehow, for some reason, Neil Yanni yesterday morning must have been in the campsite, because he tweeted a picture of all the tents and all the mud and everything. You're going, not good for the fans, but they're die-hard fans. Whether his friend had been in there or something, I'm not really sure, but he did tweet about the campsites and kind of giving respect to the fans. But yeah, it's worth the trip, and it's a week's event. It's a week's event. You don't just come here for the 24 hours. Scrutineering is the weekend before in the town. Then you've got the race, the Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday is qualifying and free practice. Friday is the pit lane is open. A bit of the track's open to walk. Friday afternoon is the drivers' parade in Le Mans. Saturday morning you've got a couple of races and the warm-up, and then the main thing. You can spend easily over a week here and not be disappointed, and probably not get everything done that you want to get done.
Yeah. I mean, we were out, as you said, we were wandering around the paddock in between our last stint in here and this one, and I haven't seen all week. I haven't seen so many people as we're wandering around there. There's what, 300,000 people here, something like that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic atmosphere, and you've got to get yourselves here, guys. You can still, obviously, there's a lot of places here have Wi-Fi, so you can still listen to us on the app. So the paddock's got Wi-Fi and everything like that. So it's a great socialising, and even if you come over with a few friends, you will leave Le Mans with a lot more friends. It's a great event. It's a motor race, but it's also a great event. So yeah.
I'm going back to the racing going on. So I'm just keeping an eye on this lead battle for the AM. We saw Townsend Bell passing Alcorbese, and they both had another stop since then. They're on their outlaps, and I thought, I wonder whether they'll change Alcorbese back to one of the quicker drivers, because he's losing. Well, that last lap, I guess it was an in lap or an out lap. He lost 10 seconds. And he's now 31, almost 32 seconds down since that overtaking maneuver. So Townsend Bell now has a pretty healthy lead. And of course, in the 88 car, we have...
So it looks like we've got the 67.
Yeah, we have David
ready.
Heinemeier Hansen and we have Patrick Long, two very quick drivers. Obviously, Alcobazi has to have his time in the car, but quite often they would cut the driver back slightly on a stint to get one of the faster guys back in to bring the car back up, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to be standing on the top step of the podium. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next and how hard the number 88 car starts pushing. And of course, we've got the 61 just behind as well, the Rob Bell car. Now Sawasan is in the car, the Ferrari there. So
the number 2 Porsche here, just getting a bit balked in the Porsche curves. Flashed his lights, did Mark Lieb, and he didn't, and rightly so, in the position he's in the dark. He was just a bit careful and ended up costing him some time. Not a huge amount, but he got away without being clipped or hit or anything like that. But
so we've got a Ford with a car coming up behind as well. There'll be
yeah, I think the 67 team are waiting for this, waiting for Marino to come in.
It's a six car. The leader just come by, Kobayashi.
And if you want to know what the difference is in speed and power, there it was.
Yeah, Kobayashi's leveled the gap off again. He's taking 2 seconds out of Lieb on that last lap, so back to 43.
Okay, our pit lane report. Anthony's busy. He's getting a load of stuff. If you just bear with us about 4 or 5 seconds, because Kobayashi is about to start the 200th lap. We're going to go over to the pits now, though. Okay, Anthony, we're with you now.
Yeah, we are in the pit, so I'm in the pit with Matthias Lauda after his stint. So Matthias, is it possible to have an update on your car, the 98 at the moment?
I mean, the last couple hours quite tough for us. We had a couple of problems, we lost a couple of laps, yeah, unfortunately, but anyway, we don't give up, we have to push till the end, there's still many hours left, and let's see where we end up.
The battle in GTM is strong as well. So, I mean, in every categories this year, again, in Le Mans, it's really, really tough.
Yeah, it's always tough. It's always tough. It's a battle till the end, and let's see where we are a bit later. And yeah, we have to keep pushing.
Is it possible to have an update as well on the track conditions? How is it to drive during the night and now?
Track conditions are good. Track is clean, track is fast, no problems.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Anthony. Yeah, that he's referring to the couple of moments that Paul Dall'Anna had in that car. With Pedro Lamy now in to the 98 car. 1 minute stop and go for the 98 car.
Speeding in the slow zone as well.
Speeding in a slow zone.
So I think that, you know, we haven't had a slow zone for a while. So as Marino Franchitti gets into the 67 now, we haven't had. So all of these decisions. Remember, I was referring a while ago.
It was a long list, wasn't there?
Yeah, that Eduardo Freitas has a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things coming up, and all of a sudden, bing, 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 speeding is, you know, everyone's getting done for the same thing. Because all these decisions are finally getting made quite a bit after the actual infringement happened. So yeah, he's gradually getting on top of these things. We haven't heard from him for a while, have we? He was quite vocal early. Maybe he's having a wee nap or something.
I think he must have gone to sleep, or he's got fed up of listening to us. Just for people wondering, yes, you are right, Matthias Lauda, son of Niki Lauda. It's quite obvious, but just some people might not know. They might think, oh, it just could be a coincidence, but no, it's not. The 7 Audi is in. This is probably going to be routine.
So the 33 LMP2 car also getting a speeding slow zone. Yep, Lotter we saw leaving the pits.
I love the gloves the mechanics have on. They don't have rags. They've just got these big gloves. And they just clean the window away. So it's the 98 car. This is it here. Pedro Lamy on board. He's going to have to come in and serve a 1 minute stop and go. Race director, he's heard you.
Information to the pit lane. Information to the pit lane. Decision number 38 from the stewards. Car 98. Stop and go 1 minute for overspeeding slow zone. Stop and go 1 minute for car 98. Overspeeding slow zone.
Okay, so that's answered that question.
I must admit, I thought for a second there he was going to say, information for Peter, I am awake.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, he has been listening. For all we know, because we are, I believe this is true, after we'd done a couple of sessions earlier on in the week, I was chatting to some of the TV guys, and I said, "Oh, is everything okay?" Yeah, everything's okay. And the guys over in the race HQ, they're happy with how everything's going. And I'm thinking, are they listening to us as well? Does that mean so? Maybe he's just thought, right, I tell you what, I'll tell that Peter Dumbrek he thinks I've gone for a nap.
So cars 7 and 8, the two Audis still running. 4th place for Jarvis right now, and Lotter down in 6th. Quite a few laps down for him. Yeah, no driver change, no tyre change, just a fuel up and clean the windscreen and back out again.
So that Rebellion, the 13 Rebellion, sitting in 5th place overall. Now, as we know, we've got 11 hours, 7 minutes to go. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility when we see all the dramas that has gone on.
Yeah, so we're seeing the 33 car straight their penalty.
And the 20... no.
I think that was just a pit stop. No,
the 26 did have to take... No.
That was the 38. That was Van der Gaard.
Okay. But didn't... that was ages ago now. Will Stevens had one, didn't he?
He
But
did,
that was ages
yeah.
ago. It was a while ago.
We haven't seen him for a while. So anyway, definitely that car 33 is taking its stop now.
That's it. The driver in the 13 car, which is the Rebellion, Matteo Tushka, he is the youngest driver in the race, 19 years old. How old were you when you made your debut here?
24?
24, okay. Oh, Christina Nilsson's out in the Ferrari, part of the Danish team, 3 Danes. Christina doing a lot of driving in America and enjoying her Le Mans experience. Oh, I've got something for you. He's not in the car at the minute. How do you pronounce Nicky Team? Is it Nicky Team?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Right. There's no I in team, but there is in that one. Nicky Team. They say there's no I in team when you're... There is in that one. I've been waiting for that one all week. What time is it? It's nearly 4 o'clock.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, we're moving swiftly on that
yeah,
one.
let's have a look at the pro class. Let's... Malicelli's still doing well.
Your pace is okay, your pace is okay. We have still 4 laps to the end of your stint.
Cool, 4 laps to go for him.
That's the leader. That's Gustavo Menzies, the leader of the P2 category.
And then we know he's been in a long time. He must be real keen on getting out now. This 4 laps to go to the end of the stint.
He went in about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon or something, didn't he? I think he's welded into that seat.
Well done to him. He's first time here, isn't he? And he survived a big long stint like that. Well, he hasn't. Again, knock on wood. Don't want to give him the old commentator's curse, but so far so good for him. He's pushing on. Look at him. Good speed through there. Look at that speed. Barely braking. Blue lights ahead, just to tell that GT car ahead that he's coming. Right, so we got penalties being served by 98 right now. Pedro Lami's sitting in the pits, and number 50. And Aaron Scott's in the pits as well, but I think his penalty was a while ago now, unless he's... No, I think he's probably taken that already. So the Ford's still pushing on, trying to catch up Malicelli, but he's got a nice 45-second gap over Briscoe and Hand in the Ford. Sorensen in the Aston 95 is still in 4th place. Kind of status quo there, not much happening. Muka probably the one just edging closer to Taylor in the Chevy.
It has gone. It's gone a little bit quiet in that battle, hasn't it? The Ferrari holding them at bay.
So we got the 51 car. Bruni, remember, they had a lot of trouble. They were sitting in the pits a long time. So they've got themselves
something. Or was
back up to 10th place in class, but a long way behind. New tyres going on.
Hugely successful driver. He'll be disappointed and probably a little bit frustrated. Townsend Bell at the front.
Yeah, won at least. Yeah, he's won here a few times. He's won the World Championship a couple of times.
As you pointed out there a little while ago, when there was that lead change in the AM category, Ferrari's first in both categories. The gap between Kobayashi and Lieb in first and second is 40.8 seconds, and there's a drive-through penalty.
They're coming thick and fast now, aren't they? So that's Midiani there. I think we knew about that from before, didn't we? Unless he got another one.
I don't know whether that might be another one. Corvette sounds great. The 64 car. It's not going so well. It's down to
sixth place. And we did hear from Ricky Taylor before, didn't we? And he was talking about how, they're running their own race. They know they're not quite on the pace, but they know they've generally got the reliability in the car, got a good driver lineup. So, yeah, let's see where they are when day breaks.
Like I say, we only have to look at last year. There was quite a drama for the Aston team last year, wasn't there? Right towards the end. So you've got to be there at 24 hours and then work it all out and see where you are.
Yeah, fastest man on track right now for the GTs in GT Pro is Stefan Muka in the Ford. Currently just got up to 5th place ahead of the Christensen Porsche and that pitted Taylor Chevrolet Corvette. And last lap around 3:53, which is fairly quick in the night. Bearing in mind, fastest lap in qualifying was a 3:51. So it's getting quicker and quicker, and also bearing in mind, around about the time that we leave here, 6 o'clock, we'll start to come into happy hour when the lights just bright enough to see where you're going. It's cool, and the track's at its best, and that's generally when the fastest times in the race go in. That's why it's called happy hour.
What's he sticking in there? What was that? Is that some compressed air or something? The man with the bottle there, I don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
Let's just
Ferrari
look at
thing.
Yeah, Ferrari thing. Let's just look at this 1, 2, 3 overall in the main race, which is Kobayashi leaving Davison. Kobayashi has 40-odd seconds. It fluctuates around about the 40-second mark. But Davison's 36 seconds. So again, fluctuating depending on traffic around the 40-second mark. But we knowing that Toyota are stretching this out by an extra lap per stint. Now, a pit stop is, in theory, longer than with them just doing the fuel. They can save that time. So when Mark Lieb has to do that additional pit stop, he's going to be stopped for more than 37, 40 seconds. So Davison still is not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination of strengthening Toyota's hold on it, pure and simply by they're able to stretch out by 1 lap per stint. So I'm interested. That might not work out or play out for a few more hours yet, when they start to get that additional stop in, which is kind of what Kobayashi has now. Okay, what's happened here with the 62? Maybe just a slow motion.
Yeah, the number 95, 4th place, Darren Turner, has taken over from Sorensen now. So that car's come up the order quite well. I can't remember where they started, but it certainly wasn't that high.
Darren Turner.
It was down in sort of 10th, 11th, wasn't he?
Something like that. Oh, I've got a grid sheet somewhere, a qualifying sheet. I've got so much paper in
So it just shows you, even though these guys don't have the pace, they're just working away and just running their own race.
They were 9th in their category in the qualifying. My desk in our console was so neat and tidy the other day. It looked like a bombs dropped in it now. There's stuff all over the place.
Blame those other
I'm
commentators.
I'm blaming Giles and Jake. Yeah, let's blame them, because it's just like, it's incredible the mess in here. They'll be coming in a couple of hours. I don't know. Well, there's no need to tidy our stuff about. We're neat. It's those two who are messy. Yeah, the biscuits we might have to hide, because I think they are ours. But yeah, that gap between the first three, Kobayashi to Lieb, fluctuating 37 to 40 seconds, then Lieb to Davison, again fluctuating around the 40-second mark. It's
and then a drop of, well, one
couple of laps, isn't it?
2 laps to Jarvis.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Rebellion still in there, the 13 car still holding on. But quite, 9 laps down on the race leader.
P2, it is Menzies who is in the 36 car there. 46 car second, and then Will Stevens running around in the G-Drive 26 car. Now, that potentially, he was in second, but he has served a penalty, so that's probably why that is in it. It's Gio van der Gaard, who you remember from Formula 1. He's in 4th place in the 38 car. 4 P2 cars in the top 10 at the moment, with just under 11 hours still to go. It's 63 car in the garage. This could be a brake change. This could be like a routine
scheduled
service, so to speak. Yeah, they're working.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, look, there's some brake discs and calipers.
We know
already.
they have to do it, so they're getting out of the way now. And we know Ford will do it as well. But I guess it was at least an hour ago that we spoke to George Howard Chapel. So, yeah, we've got one of the Fords coming in now. That's a 69 car, so that's second place Briscoe. So Malicelli's in the pits as well, so they're all coming in at the same time.
They did that last time round as well, didn't they? Those two at the front are on the same strategy.
But guessing Malicelli's going to get out quite a bit before that Ford, though.
He'll flick up on our screen with an O for out very shortly, I suspect. But yeah, the 69 car. And Brian Briscoe on board. Fuel is in. Windows are clean. Don't think there's any. No, the mechanic is ready as if he's going to change tyres. So he was stood there with the big nut gun. Obviously, the Joey Hand car is going to go past its teammate, pure and simply on strategy. Just need to look down that pit road to see if Briscoe is still in there. I think he must be changing tyres. Yeah, he's just left now, so that is a change. It will change back when the 68 car comes into the pits.
So Briscoe's still on board.
I'll tell you who I haven't seen in that car yet, well, in any of these Fords at all weekend, and he obviously has been in, is Andy Prio. I have not seen Andy Prio inside a racing car yet.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
Bizarrely, we have been on. We did 12 hours of free practice and qualifying commentary. We've now done, well, we're heading towards 7 hours of race commentary, and I've yet to see Andy Prio sat inside a Ford on our TV screen.
You're right.
How bizarre is that?
I think
19 hours of work.
I think the thing is, his car, because it's down the order a bit, it's now sitting in 11th place.
We don't really see it very much.
Yeah, we don't see him that much, and it's a bit of a shame, really, but it is what it is. They follow the cars that are higher up, and yeah, it's logical.
Having thought about it, I don't think I've seen Scott Dixon in a car yet. We've seen Scott Dixon in person, standing in the pit garage. It's just strange when you start to look through drivers' names and who's around. You're thinking, not actually seen that person drive, but they obviously have. But we've just not been with them when they have. That's really strange. Okay, we've got a P2 in. It's the 36 car. It is our leader to drive a change. There we go. He's still got energy to run. Gustavo's still got energy to run. That's
fair play.
Amazing, yeah. He's put in a huge amount of work there. Another very, very good driver going in there, Nicolas Lapierre.
Again, he's a guy that's been around forever, it seems. He's only 32.
He's a winner at the top end of this sport as well.
And he's only 32, yeah.
He's, his team working very well. I think they're going to do that full service and still maintain the lead, because the car behind them, the 46 car, is in theory a lap down. So they are. He's out onto the track, and he's still in the lead. That's good going. They've got to be happy with that.
Yeah,
they've got to be happy with that.
So some fast laps going in now. There's Victor Scheitar in the 37 car. Was he position 6 in P2? He's just done his fastest lap of the race. And I noticed Joey Hand over there, second place, has done it's obviously not his fastest lap, but it's 3:52.6 in the night. So that's what, just under a second slower than the pole position time. So times are getting down to a reasonable pace.
Okay, the gap between the first and second in P2, 36 to the 46, is 7 seconds now. But the 36 has done a pit stop where the 46 hasn't. So they got a pit stop in hand. And there's the other Sinotech car, the 35. It is running just a bit further down the order. That's 7th in the category. And I'm just going to have a look at something. Oops. Just going to check something. This was the car that Saturday morning. Warm-up was 9 till 9:45. So about 9:35, 9:33, David Cheng put that 35 car in the wall, and it needed like front bodywork, rear bodywork, a bit of side bodywork and things like that. But it is running in 7th place at the moment. And it was a driver change as well at that time. Okay, we're keeping him busy, but Anthony is in the pits with somebody for us.
We try to updated and to keep you updated and to keep busy and to be busy. So we are with Ines Tétinger, one of the 2 ladies in the race. So Ines, for your first participation, how is your feeling?
My feeling is great. Well, I mean, for this stint, my feeling was great. I had a good pace that I tried to keep till the end. So, I mean, I made no mistakes. I actually love the night. So, I hope it's gonna continue like this.
And for your first participation, a few moments, of course, that's normal. But how do you rate your performance until now?
Oh, it's complicated to rate it. We're only halfway through the race, so the track is very busy with a lot of traffic. It's very, very hard to manage all of this, especially during the night, where what you only see is just lights. So I don't know, my performance is. I made a few mistakes. I apologize to the team, but it's my first time, and I'll try to make it up on the other stints.
So clearly the aim is to finish now.
Of course, the goal is to finish. We're on the right way. We're on the right way to finish the race. We don't aim anything else. It's amazing to finish the race for the first participation, so this is our primary goal.
And now what is your program? So you'll sleep a bit?
I'm gonna eat and sleep, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Ines is getting ready to eat and then to sleep, so that's normal, and she stays busy as well. So yeah, that's good. As we are busy.
Thank you for that, Anthony. Yeah, we are busy. I'm just going to go back onto just a tweet. Jason Bringhurst, the Ferrari canister is probably engine oil, so the engine is consuming a bit of oil, which is normal. I'm not really sure. I didn't really.
Yeah,
that canister that they were putting in, it looked like a pressurized canister to me. So, but Jason, maybe
it kind of has to pressurize in, doesn't it? It's not good. They're not going to get a bottle of Mobil 1 and.
Why not?
Because it just doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. They've got to use something a bit techie, have they, to put it in? on board.
I think you might well be right with that
Well,
one.
that could be another WRC question here from Stuart Owen. Which of the current WRC World Rally Championship stars do you think will be capable of driving a LMP1? I was again Sébastien Ogier. We know Sébastien Loeb did come here twice and finish on the podium in his first go, I think. But yeah, Sébastien Ogier, I would suspect. I expect it all like a go. Danny Sordo could be pretty good. Mark Webber now waiting to get into that one car. Brendan Hartley's shift is about to end. He went in at just around about 11 o'clock. He's been in there. He's not been in the car for 5 hours, but his name's been attached to that car for 5 hours.
Yeah.
That could be one of the longest stints in Le Mans history. That's a pretty long stint, even though he hasn't driven the car in that time.
Well, of course, you're only allowed to drive 4 hours at one stage, but yeah.
Yeah, but obviously his name's been linked to that car, but he's been in the pits for nearly 2 hours of that 5. Team radio.
I have the Toyota in front. Yes, I think it's leaking oil.
I think it's leaking oil.
Yeah, it sounded like that.
Okay. Thinks it's leaking oil.
Well, that ain't good then.
No, that is not good. Just to answer Stuart Owen's question, Danny Sordo, who's very good on tarmac. Danny Sordo could probably drive one of these cars. A question really for Peter here. The #1 car on pit road. If you guys could have a street version of one of the GTs, what would it be? I mean, I could answer that one. I do like the Porsche, but the Aston does look nice. Corvette, just for the noise. But then the Ford makes the same noise. I can't answer that. There's too many choices.
I think for just for having a unique car, the Ford GT.
Yeah.
How many have you seen on the road? You've seen loads of Porsches.
You do see loads of Porsches.
Loads of Corvettes. I'd have the Ford.
Okay, Mark Webber getting out. Getting in, Brendan Hartley getting out. Brendan Hartley, right, is really tall and so skinny. I saw him yesterday. I thought he was a surfer. Then I realised it was actually him. That car smoking away again, remember. Brendan working the brakes very hard.
That's what he's saying. He thinks there might be an oil leak and it might get pushed back into the garage.
See the steering wheel there in that car? We were looking at that yesterday.
I tell you what, I'll tweet a picture of it.
I did yesterday. I tweeted a picture of it yesterday. But yeah, we were very privileged to go into the Porsche garage yesterday and have a look around. Mechanic just on the floor at the front end, looking underneath just to check it. It's a full service, as we'd expect. Driver, fuel, and tyres going on the #1 Porsche. And it is away. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Oh, Davison in the pits as well. Davison in the pits. Mark Webber in the car.
Yeah, so they're not worried about this smoking car then. They're just cracking on.
Here's the 5 drinks bottles going in. I think that's a rule, isn't it? They have to change a drinks bottle every pit stop. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
Do they?
I'm sure I could be totally wrong, but I'm sure they have to replace the drinks bottle every pit stop for safety for the driver, for hydration.
Right.
Now, I could be totally wrong, or someone could have been winding me, or I've read it. I'm not sure, but anyway, there we go. That'll just set Twitter buzzing again. So someone will come in with that one there. Right, the grandstand, update on the grandstand opposite us. If we look out of our window, it's just over to our left. When the race started, it was absolutely full. When we came on at midnight, there was probably about 200 to 300 people in it. There's probably in the one I'm looking at, which is the Motul one, near the fun fair at the Fort Chicane, I would say there's about 40 people in it now, and most of them will probably be asleep. There is some people on the very top who are lying down, so there is some people sleeping in the grandstand. And they'll be sleeping there so that they got the right place for tomorrow, because that is the final corner before they go in. The 6th garage seems to be getting ready for something. That'll be Kobayashi. They just seem to be wandering around. Davison on an outlap.
Gap's down. 27 seconds now.
He's taken... Mark Lee's taken 13 seconds out of that Toyota.
Yeah, we've not been paying attention to that.
No, but that's not a huge amount of laps ago. It was 40, maybe 4 or 5 laps ago.
See.
And those Toyota mechanics just seem to be kind of a strange shot of them. But let's see. Toyota is going round again. The 6th car. There's been no radio communication, so hopefully everything is okay. I mean, I didn't witness your last race at Le Mans up to this present day at the moment. Obviously, there should be more to come. But when we walked the track and we walked this final section, you tell a story about Kobayashi in this final chicane, which he now basically can't do because of all these curves, but very hard on the car in that day when he was in the Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, back in 2013, they didn't have so many curbs at the Ford chicane, and it was possible to be one gear up on where they are now and just kind of straight line right over the top of them. And as the race went on, more and more people were doing it, and you know, the ACO didn't worry too much like they do. You know, they're giving more penalties out for track limits nowadays. But then it wasn't such an issue, and yeah, it was worth a second basically. You're one gear higher, and you just throw the car over the top of the curb, straight line it, and get back on the power. And Kobayashi, I followed, and I was catching him, and then we got to here, and he pulled a second off me, and then I spent the rest of the lap catching him again, and then he did it again, and so I started doing the same, and yeah, it felt real rough on the car.
It's not good. We've got a real closing speed difference there. That car, that P2 car's going slowly, because even the Corvette nearly kind of rear-ended it. Just looking at the gap, it's 26 seconds. A Stracker in there. That's
Danny Watts.
You see, there's one of those compressed things there. Oh, they're telling him to turn the engine off. Turn the engine off, because you can't work on the cars, you know, with the engine running. The mechanic really thinking there, because we've seen 2 people have penalties for that reason. And so there's one of those compressed canisters. So, yeah, that's just not like a tub of oil which is being put in. Greg's been back on with Twitter. The longest drive for one driver to do was in 1949. Luigi Cincetti, 23 hours.
Ouch.
Brendan Hartley, you've got a long way to go. How many hours did he drive in that 23? Probably knowing it, probably all of them. But the gap just going up. Team radio.
2 laps, very good. We refuel and we do a quick fix for the bodywork. A quick fix with tape on the bodywork. Okay.
Yeah, I just in that last shot, I don't know where the damage is, but you know when that car came in before, and I said it looked like there was something hanging down on the right-hand side, just as he went through there, just underneath the 6. I don't know whether there's something hanging down.
So there's maybe been a little bit of contact.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
And because he did lose some time, didn't he?
Yeah, but I thought the damage. I thought I saw some marks on the bodywork in the previous stop, but I don't know. But depending on, with them saying that, that sounds like Kobayashi is on pit road now.
So we'll get a close look,
yeah,
hopefully.
But does that sounds like he's staying in the car? But do they have to put him into the garage for that? Just with them telling him in detail of we're going to do this, he might have to go inside the garage. But we'll see. Depends how bad it is. Okay, the 27 car we're hearing is the garage. No, they're going to try and they're cleaning it. I think it's the bottom bit here. They're cleaning the underneath of the. So let's just see what they're doing. They're not liking that photographer there taking pictures, are they?
Yeah, if we get a he's had contact.
He's had contact somewhere, hasn't he? Because he's broken like the top half of the bodywork. So
Lieb goes into the lead again.
Be interesting to see if they just have to put that onto the dollies and push it in.
No, I think
they're going to do it there.
Yeah. They
already got it pre-made, haven't they?
Yeah,
the
they said quick fix, didn't they?
Yeah. So they've already stuck that all together. That's quite messy, isn't it?
That's unfortunate, that is. They could have done without that.
It's still quite messy. Even though it's got a bit of tape on it now, it's still a bit messy. But, I mean, with the way current aero is on these cars, their monitors and things like that probably pick it up. So, There was another question on Twitter, just having seen that shot there of the pits. So Kobayashi on his outlap, he has dropped to second place, but the question on Twitter was, how many people do the top P1 teams bring to a race? Well, it's a bit different because they're limited on regular 6-hour races. I think it's 60 or 80, I can't remember. I know there's a big difference between that, but they are limited. But in Le Mans, they do bring more. I got a feeling that Porsche, with everybody, have got around about 200 people here, I think it is. Something like that. It's a lot of people anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
But they are limited on regular World Endurance rounds. Okay, right, this man, Mark Leave, has really, really, really got to hammer this home now. This is the second place.
Second place to Hirakawa. I've just noticed a couple of times from him looking at his lap times, he's been rapid actually.
Here we go. Just let's watch this.
Another question in from George. He's saying, why do we think the Ford is so much faster here than at Rolex? Well, the Ford is still a very new car, and Rolex was back in January, so they've done a lot of testing, a lot of work to make that car faster. They did the test day here, and I was speaking to Richard Westbrook yesterday, and he said even from the test day to now, they've made some big steps with the car and improved it. So it's just basic evolution with the car, just the fact that they've had it longer.
Down pit road is the number 2 car. So Kobayashi still on his outlap, and the number 2 Porsche is on. Keeping an eye on what is going on. Just the gap. It won't be enough for it to maintain the lead, but numbers getting cleaned, headlights getting cleaned, windows getting cleaned. Okay, the 27 car, what Anthony is telling us, is having a new front end.
So that's Mediani.
And the 2 car is already on its way. Now this could be interesting. Where's the Toyota? Because Kobayashi's still on his outlap. Whereabouts is the Toyota? Let's just keep an eye on that. Here comes the Toyota. Tell you, Porsche could have just sorted something out here. This has just brought it back to life.
Well, it was that little extra time spent trying to fix the car after he primed it against someone.
That's the hang on, that's the 1 car.
Oh, right.
Where's Kobayashi then? Because they're still showing.
He's 8 seconds behind.
Yeah.
So Porsche have legitimately taken the lead even through the stops now.
Yeah. And
so that was a 30-second extra tape job on the side of the car.
What I'm curious to know is whereabouts Brendan Hartley goes in after having his stint to the little cubicle. What I'm curious is whereabouts is that 1 car? Is the 1 car between the 2 and the 6 on the road? And Manor is in. Remember, Manor led LMP2 earlier on in the race. 110-second penalty, so that's like nearly 2 minutes, isn't it? Stop and go penalty for the car 4, the breach of limitation of fuels. So yeah, 3 times more than what the limitation of fuel that they were allowed they've used. and it's still not going very fast, that car, even with using extra fuel. Oh, they will be so pleased to get to the end of this race, or just see the end of it, whether it's now, whether it's in another 10.5 hours. We've got a bit of a...
That was a bit smoky there, wasn't it?
We've got another Porsche making smoke. Or was that just a lock-up?
Hard to tell.
It's not going very fast down the straight.
Yeah, but it's against other...
Yeah, but it's getting caught by another one behind it, does it? Maybe it's not. I thought that I thought that GTE car behind was catching it. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, we're going over to Anthony. He's in the pits.
So Maurizio, what happened on the 27 car?
Actually, we don't know why, but the car is jumping quite a lot, and little by little, there's part of the car that's probably broken, and we have to fix. And it's very difficult to drive and to brake in the right place to avoid to lock the wheels, and to also to watch outside. I mean, it's very, very difficult situation. It's probably the most hard 24 hours of my life.
Wow, yeah, and of course the race for the victory in LMP2 is always difficult, but yeah, it's even more difficult now.
Believe me, like this, it's very difficult, very difficult.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Mauricio will have a rest, so yeah, he's very friendly to answer our questions.
That's good, thank you for that. We got basically the top three 49 seconds apart now. This is just starting to get interesting. And looking at that gap there, just flicked up. We do need to wait for Kobayashi to go over the start-finish rate. But that last sector just split up, popped up 11 seconds. It's there again. It was only 8 or 9, wasn't it, coming out when they were both on their out laps. Oh, it's now saying Kobayashi's in the lead.
Fuel conso OK pour 11 tours, map 1. Le rythme est bon. Hiragana vient de pousser le tour d'avant et on a un peu plus d'1 minute d'avance.
Okay, the team ready from there is the rhythm is good. We have a 1 minute advantage, and Mark Lieb fans, Porsche number 2 fans, don't worry. It just put Kobayashi in the lead and disappeared with Mark Lieb, but Mark Lieb is back there. The gap 12 seconds. So that is going forward. The Porsche is quick again. This was the car that was on pole position, remember. It's now starting to find that pace that it had on Thursday night. Wednesday night, not Thursday night, Wednesday night. So Nicolas Lapierre, he is in the 36 car. They're leading LMP2, and they have quite a good lead going on in there. So we'll see what else is going on now. I'm just waiting for the times to update again. 48 seconds, the top three are split by its lead. Kobayashi, Davison, Toyota were leading comfortably. 10.5 hours to go. Well, when I say comfortably, they had 30-odd seconds. Kobayashi had an extended stop for a small bit of damage that just needed to be repaired. They kind of just stuck a bit of tape on it and made it kind of a bit more aerodynamic. Just answering just reading some more information and tweets. How many Formula 1 drivers have won Le Mans after their last F1 start? Oh, I have no idea. We'd have to Google that one. Yellow flag, zone 15, yellow flag. That is somewhere on the Mulsanne Straight. Somebody potentially going slowly on the Mulsanne Straight. And we're way beyond there in the number 2 Porsche. So I'm not really sure what it is. This is the 110-second penalty that the car 4 of Ollie Webb is having to stay 50th overall. Oh, it's just been a disaster. This car was on fire on Wednesday afternoon, and the quick thinking of The driver's name has just gone past me. Right, what's going slowly here? There's a car parked up. It's a Rebellion. It's the 13 car. Lights out on it now. It's going to be, sounds like he's going to do a bit of a, I'd say Tushka, he's the youngest driver in the race. They're in 6th place overall. Oh, dear me. Dear me. What has happened to the Rebellion? It is parked up on the straight. Yeah, it's not looking good for them. I was trying to find some information out for you, wasn't I, on another driver? And I forgot what driver it was with that stop. But never mind, we will endeavour to try and remember what that was. But it's Mark Glebe, followed by Kobayashi. It's now up to 13.8. It's going in the right direction for them. So, yeah, the Rebellion stopped. Car 13 stopped on the Mulsanne straight. And then there, the mechanics, they're looking in. It's he's had the headlights on, he's had the headlights off, on, and then off, and then on. I suspect trying to do is they're on there. He's parked up just before the second chicane. They're trying to, well, basically they're trying to. Now you see the lights.
Talk him into getting home.
Yeah. Well, the lights were on, and then they went off. It was as if he was turning all the power off.
Yeah, did a full reset. Yeah,
but it's not moved anywhere since he's done that. Yeah, it's not going anywhere at the minute, that car. That's a huge disappointment because their other car is down in 21st place and has had a problem. There's going to be a slow zone at zone 13, 14, 15, 16, which is basically in the area where the Rebellion is parked up, just pure and simply for security of that car, while Tushka has potentially works on it or does something with it. But the Rebellion is currently stopped on track. Now the gap is up to 14.6. That Porsche has now just found, it was, oh no, I was going to say it was around about this time in qualifying, but it wasn't this time in qualifying. It was about 11 o'clock at night, but it's kind of finding the pace. What was our last lap? 3:26. What's, trying to think what his best lap is. I'm not sure what his best lap is, but their qualifying lap was a 3:19. 3:19.
I think they've done a 3:21.
Yeah.
Kobayashi's the fastest, but I'm sure they've done a slightly higher 3:21.
So going that last lap considerably slow. I don't know whether he had to. No, he won't have gone through the slow zone yet.
He's keeping his tyres warm in the slow zone.
That's got to be Davison, because there's 3 little red lights on the side of it. And it's, yeah, he'd be the one who'd be thinking, right, here we go. Yep, those 3 red lights signal. The red is for LMP1. The 3 means that he is in 3rd place, currently 8 on the pit road.
So 4th place man, Jarvis is in the pits now. Again, it's another one. He's been in a while, hasn't he? Yes, driver changed to Degrassi this time. They'll be keen to get some rest now. Degrassi will see the sun come up. Nice time to be in the car, that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's you know, getting in the car, knowing while it's dark and just gradually lap by lap it getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and then finally seeing the sun come up. It's like, and it's like the first step. It's like, yeah, we've made it through the night.
It's a big step.
And okay,
psychologically, it's a big step.
And you know, when we're going to see it? Actually, within half an hour, we're going to see it light. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure even out there now, it's starting to just turn. So, yeah.
Where are you looking? It's pitch black outside where I'm looking. Dear me.
I've had my carrots.
I'm going to say, you must have had your carrots, lots of them. Dear me.
No, I'm sure I can, I can see
whatever.
It's slight changes, and in half an hour's time, that will be big changes. And it's a great time to be in the car.
This Rebellion has been pushed down the road a little bit. I think it's going to be basic. Oh, it's being pushed backwards in between the barriers. That doesn't mean it's out. It now just means he can work on it in a safe place.
Yeah. but it's, yeah.
Right,
it's
what's
not
the
looking good.
stories? When we had the white WeatherTech Porsche, the 89 car, very early in the race, up at Dunlop, and you said that a mechanic could come out and help and etc.
Well, they can come out
and advise.
Yeah.
In the old days, there must have been stories when that you may know when cars were stopped out on Mulsanne and mechanics was sneaking through.
Oh, I'm sure. 'Cause there's no cameras then, maybe a few pictures, but there was no video cameras as such, and you know, whereas we got complete coverage nowadays, haven't we?
I mean, I bet it was.
You can't get away with anything now.
Some of the stories must have been just immense and fantastic in those days. Yeah. Cars being repaired and things like that, but we have seen over the past some very, very battered cars being driven back to the pits to be worked on. The 7 car just coming in, but as you said, we haven't really had that. The only one that was bad that couldn't get back to the pits. Well, we've had 2. We've had 1 Porsche, we've had 1 Ferrari, but the Ferrari was basically the wheel fell off and you just couldn't do anything about it. I don't know really. Oh, the 69 car. This is the second in class.
Right.
Back into the garage now. This potentially brakes. Potentially.
I think he's getting out. Yeah, driver change.
Yeah. Is there a load of brakes and stuff on the floor?
Is that?
Yeah, there is.
Dixie going in. Yeah. So I mean, we knew it was going to happen. Yeah, we knew this was going to happen at some stage, but here it comes now. And yeah, we're past the halfway point.
This is regular. Don't panic. This would be planned, wouldn't it? They would have in their strategy. We are going to lose this much time here when we change the brakes.
Yeah, I guess that's Scott Dixon going in the car now.
That's it. So yeah, I was only saying earlier. Anthony, our pit lane reporter, reminded me that I hadn't seen Scott Dixon in the car either.
Here you go.
There we go. Seen Scott Dixon in the car now.
It's taken how many hours?
A
13
lot.
13 hours 40 minutes.
so there goes the old brake.
Well, let's have a look for Marino. Marino's still in car 67, so Andy's not in. Yeah, we still haven't seen Andy in the car.
Look how dirty that car is. Now you see some of the teams, when these cars win massively prestigious events and you go to their museums, they've kept the dirty car in the museum and things like that.
Yeah, they lacquer it even.
Do they?
So it can't be cleaned, yeah.
Okay, right, okay. I didn't realise they went to that extent. I believe the Porsche from last year is still dirty. The Nico Hülkenberg car, I believe that's still dirty. So, yeah, here is the 68 car. Second at the moment, 1 minute and 22 down.
Yeah, that Fisichella Ferrari is holding on very well. You consider that battle early on with that car and how both Joey Hand and who's the other driver? The other 4 drivers.
Just look how wide that car is from that angle.
Yeah.
It's really wide.
Yeah, it's low and wide. Yeah.
Wow, those discs and calipers are already on. The wheels are going on. Wasn't a very long pit stop at all. Here we go.
Get him out, get him on the ground before he starts his engine.
Still reporting him in second place. He's got to get out of it. Yeah, that's because he hasn't gone past the pits as he has a lap, because he came in second place. So he's got 2 little green lights on there, but that will change to 3 green lights because he's about to come out of the pits and it'll register, because it's this car, the 68 car, that is in second place in the pro category. The Rebellion is still stopped out on circuit, the 13 car. Bad weekend for Rebellion. I mean, a lot of people, not just dreamers and people with like kind of romantic side of seeing privateers doing well. With lots of people thinking a Rebellion could be on the podium here quite easily, and it's just kind of going wrong for them.
Yeah, if they had to keep going at the pace they were doing, not necessarily all that quick, and just letting everyone else fall apart around them. But they're having their own issues. Yeah, a couple of questions. Here's a good one. Who's the oldest driver in the field?
Yeah, I'd have to look through my book. Take quite a while, but I'll have to look through my book.
I've certainly seen Tracy Crone.
You're going to go for Tracy Crone. I haven't got a clue. Let me. So, 39, age 39, and I'm going to talk to myself while we go through.
Right, go for it.
Let's 39 again. 39 can't be the oldest there. But we've got a 40. Stefan Sarazan's 40. As I go through my stats book, he is the oldest at the moment. So we've got a long way to go.
Better than that.
We're going to do far better than that, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, we are going to do better than that. We know who the youngest driver is. Easily, we know who the youngest driver. 52. Eric Maes is 52. He is now winning the competition. 52. Better put my finger in that hole. Just better put my finger in that hole just so I know it's him there. So we're looking at 52. Let's keep going. The 62 just beating. That's the lead. That's Townsend Bell on his way out.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed Brown is 53. Ed Brown is 53. Do you know the answer to this question? Or
I'm just guessing it. Tracy Crone.
Oh, someone with a name I can't pronounce. Remy Straybig, 57. Hopefully it's not him because I can't pronounce his name very well. Oh, that's good. Oh, brilliant. I'm being told by our reporter in the pits that was quite good. So
there's been a driver change in 62 as well. Jeff Segal is in the car. And now he's got a lap over Alcopese. After all of that,
you did wonder why Alcopese was being kept in the car, but he'll have to do so many runs, won't he? So many miles.
Yeah, true. But you'd want him to do it in the daylight when he could be a bit faster.
Here's the number 2 car. This is the lead car. Remember,
well, not anymore.
Ahead.
Kobayashi's gone by him now while he's sitting in the pits.
Because it was about 11 or 12 seconds. This is why that Porsche is going so fast, because it knows it's probably going to have to do one stop more.
Look at the smoke coming off it as it sits there.
But it was the other car doing it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Lieb's having tyres as well. Because he'd have had a set before as well when he got into the car. Tracy Crone, 61. You could be a winner. You could be a winner, Peter Dumbrek, with yours. Let's just...
Oh, we've got a response already. No, Mark Patterson, who we walked by on the way to Aston. I've 64.
I haven't got to him yet. I haven't got to him now. Let me just see. Wait a minute. I don't know what car he's in. What car he's in? I don't think I've got past him yet. Mark Patterson. I'm running out of cars. I've obviously not written his age down, or I've missed it as I'm going past.
Well, he's in the car right now. 57.
He's in the car. Oh, well. I've obviously gone past that when I was looking at him. I was going to tell you something else about Mark Patterson before. I've obviously missed his age while I was whizzing through all his... all the stats on other people. What car is he? 57?
Yeah.
Right. I do have something else on Mark Patterson. Somewhere in this book. Tell you what, if they're listening to us in the truck, they are just going to wonder what we are going on about.
We're you know, it's what time is it now? It's 4:45. We're in a delirium here.
If there's anybody else listening in that truck, I'd be surprised anyway.
It's 4:45 and I've been up since 6:30 yesterday morning.
I know you have. What car am I looking for? What?
Mark Patterson, 57.
57. I can't find 57.
Have you drink some more
yellow,
of your Coke?
Yellow at zone 20. Yellow at zone...
Right. So
51 is in the box.
Yeah. It's having some issues, so let's look down.
I can't even see a 51 anywhere. Oh yes, I can. Yeah. It's 10th in Pro category. Yes.
It's they've had issues. It's the Broody car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for them at all at the moment. Oh, we got to spin. That's the number 2. That's the Porsche.
Is it? Where's its lights up the side? No.
No, I'm sure that had number 2 on it. We need a replay. I'm sure that had a number 2 on it. Did anyone else see that? I'm sure. It's gone quiet in here because I kind of
hang on.
just do with seeing what happened there.
Looks like a bit of a rock or something. You punctured that tyre, mate. Watch out for rocks on the track.
Something about a puncture and watch out for stuff on track.
Yeah. We're staying out.
Where would that have been then? Was that at Arnage?
Yeah, it looked like it could just do with a replay, couldn't we? Just to, because I'm sure that was the car that was parked up. Let's check the Porsche Twitter and see if they report anything on there. Because the 12 car's still. Oh, the 12
well, it's dropped behind Davidson, so yeah, you might. Yeah, look, he's.
Hang on, I'm getting some more. Wait a minute. The 12 car has been reported to have stopped at Mulsanne, but the 13 car obviously is stopped there as well. So maybe it was the 12.
Maybe it was the 12. But anyway, Mark Lieb is now in third place.
Yeah, he's dropped places.
Behind Kobayashi and Davidson. And Davidson's, oh, mind you, he hasn't pitted yet, but he's only 17 seconds behind Kobayashi. He's on a bit of a stormer. No change in GT Pro or AM, same top 3 positions. Joey Hahn seems to be the quickest one at the moment in the 68 car, gradually catching up Fisichella. And Al Qubaisi is now in the pits. I would put a bet on him coming out of the car this time and then putting either Pat Long in the car. Well, I haven't seen Pat for a while, have we? So yeah, maybe, yeah, there you go. Bingo. Pat Long exits in car 88. Right, we're going to see some frantic catching up of the car ahead now. Pat Long's going to put in an epic stint where he
2 minutes 23 behind though.
Al Qubaisi did lose quite a lot.
Let's just make a note of that somewhere. Lap 186. The 12 Rebellion, it must have been the 12 Rebellion. Okay. 2:25. 8. Okay. I found my start. Mark Parson, former Wall Street banker, now runs his own private equity and hedge funds company based in New York. He'd be quite wealthy. 1951, December the 16th, he was born. Right, this is both Rebellions having problems. And 12 car, as we know, is stopped out on 13 car is stopped on Mulsanne, and then the 12 car's now in the pits.
Yes, bodywork. I'm just looking to the left behind those guys and thinking the car's sitting there, but it's not. It's the bodywork. So the driver's out. There's no haste to.
PK
Yeah,
Junior,
in fact, the
isn't
car's going up on its high stands, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's going to be there for a while.
And the mechanic's asking Nelson just to move away, just so he can get all the stuff down there. Disappointment for them. Lapierre on an out lap in his category.
No, well, yeah, I mean, 12 wasn't going that well anyway, but 13, that's the...
What's happened to the Porsche? It's now a minute behind. It's a minute behind the leader in third place.
Yeah.
And the Toyotas weren't going that slowly before, were they? What's his last lap? What, a 3:27 to a 3:24 and a 3. Just find it a bit bizarre.
Did he not get new tyres last time he was in the pits?
Yes, he did. Yeah. So that would be another 20 seconds, won't it? So, yeah.
True, but then he shouldn't have any issues, and he should be able to keep the pace up. But they talked they talked about watching out and having. Has he got a slow puncture or something?
Yeah, they did tell him to watch out, didn't they? Right. Matt Powers said it was the 12 car that we saw spun. But why did the 2 car pit after 5 laps? Leap's been in twice in 5 laps. You look at the amount of pit stops he's done 17 pit stops. Nelson.
10 hours and 7 minutes to go.
I'm just looking at Nelson Piquet Jr. He's having a look underneath the car.
7's going slow now.
Oh, it's on pit straight as well.
It's kind of not a surprise, is it? And he's speeded back up again. Bizarre. But yeah, that thing's just seems to go fine for a while and then just suddenly have an issue and it speed back up again. It's like a short circuit or something. So, Fisichella responding to the challenge from Joey Hand. He's now lapping very similar pace.
Oh, that's why it was going slow. That was what in a trade you would call a tank slapper.
Oh, yeah. He did well to keep that at the wall.
Yeah, because he was nearly into that end of that barrier, wasn't he? Here we go, team radio.
Everything okay? Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
That was he had the tone of yeah, sorry, that was my mistake. Sorry.
Yeah. And sorry that maybe I didn't damage it anymore. It might have put us out of our misery. So, oh dear me, tough weekend for them. Not as tough as the #1 Porsche.
Yeah, I mean they've had so many good weekends over the last few years.
That's it,
and
yeah.
you know.
And the good weekends are only really good because you have bad ones. You know what I mean? You kind of just write it off, so to speak. The gap at the front, Kobayashi to Davison, is 13 seconds. So,
and Davidson is definitely lapping quicker. 2 seconds off Kobayashi, in fact 2.5. So, yeah, as well. Again, I'm not saying this is really what's going to happen, but I did pick the last 2 years winner of the race, and I bet on the Davidson car for this race.
You did bet on the Davidson car for this race.
So fingers crossed for him. Not that I'm biased in any way, and you know, it'll play out, and I'm
right. Okay, got some information. Yeah. So yeah, the second pit stop for Mark Lee was due to a slow puncture. So that's why he did 2 pit stops in 5 laps. Slow puncture.
Right, and that has cost him. So he's really going to have to raise his game. But at the same time, Anthony Davidson is on a charge. 13 seconds behind Kobayashi.
But, you know, that Porsche was flying, right? And then it gets a slow puncture. So anything can happen. You've got to think we've got 10 hours and 4 minutes still to go. Yeah. So there's all sorts can still go on in this race. And we've just seen that the 7 Audi that's coming through the 40K now, that just the previous lap had a moment where it clipped the curb and ran wide and then a bit of a slide on heading towards the wall, corrected it all. It can so easily change, and there's still a huge amount of laps. We've done 218 laps, and did I have somewhere last year's winning amount of laps? I can't remember what it was now, but we are over the halfway mark. We've got 10 hours to go. So there's still another 150 odd laps to do. So we are by far, and Lieb is now starting to press on. He's under a minute now. I know it's still a lot, but when he was a minute and 7 or something behind, he's but you look at his last laps, and his last laps aren't there, so I'm not really understanding how that gap's come down. But
yeah, we've not been talking about the number 8 car. Of course, we're seeing it come into pits and everything, but he's had a very quiet race. Degrassi's in the number 8 car just now. He's just there waiting to pick up the pieces, just lapping away on his own.
A lap behind.
No stress.
A couple of laps behind, I think, isn't he? But as you say, it's so quickly you can lose a couple of laps. You've got to change a floor or something like that, or you damage something. So how quickly time can change. So yeah, they are still in it. A little bit away, but they are still in it. A bit like us, we're still in it.
Yeah, we are. Just looking over at the Pro Class again, Fisichella's now doing his fastest lap of the race, so that challenge from Joey Hand is starting to fall away again because Fisichella, yeah, we've got some radio.
Okay, Lucas, be careful of curbs in Dunlop. Careful of the curbs in Dunlop.
Okay, is that maybe because of the puncture? Is that causing a bit of a problem? I'm just looking.
I mean, that was the Porsche. That wasn't the.
Yeah, but obviously they might have worked out where they potentially got the puncture, the Porsche got the puncture, and just warning their other drivers.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The Rebellion of 12 is still in the pits, just so you know, and the other Rebellion is still parked up on the Mulsanne straight. So not a good race at the moment for the Rebellions. Kobayashi leads. Davison is in second. It's 13.26 seconds. Lafayette in the 36 is leading in the Alpine. Is leading P2. GTE Pro is Giancarlo Fisichella. He's a minute and 22 ahead of Joey Hand. And then in the Pro and the GTE Am, it is the 62 Ferrari of Seagal, and then it is Long, Patrick Long in the 88 car. Now we just need to see what that was, because I wrote it down. Lap.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know what happened traffic-wise, but the last lap, Seagal was 3 seconds faster than Long, so Long's not able to close the gap.
Mark Webber is wringing the neck out of this car now. I think just to kind of prove what he can do. Just waiting for some times to come. Yeah, Long was 2:25.8 down at the lap 186, so he's only done 3 laps since then. But then, as you pointed out, 2.5 seconds or so, 2.6 seconds slower on the last lap. Simply traffic, but that quickly changes around and moves around to different cars in different situations. We're under 10 hours to go. We've got a car on pit road. It's the number 1. It doesn't take long for them to rattle off 12, 13 laps, does it?
Probably in the car, though, it feels a lot longer. They're working hard out there.
Got a yellow flag at the Dunlop area. Dunlop Curves area, zone 3. You know, looking at the drivers' faces when they're in there, they're kind of like just sat there waiting for everything to happen.
You know, it's like a quick breather for them. And then you prep yourself, get ready, get your finger on the button. And as soon as they give you the signal, you fire the car and you go.
Okay, it's the 34 car that has stopped. That is No, that's that. It's them again. Oh, brake pads going in this. This is only pads. What he's doing is pushing the pistons. But no, sorry, this but right. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm sure the Ford did.
Yeah, but why did the Ford and the Corvettes and everything go in the garage to change it?
Yeah, that is different technique by the Ferrari guys.
Okay, this is the car that was in the gravel or spun at the Dunlop curves. It's going very slowly now. Is the 34. And that's our leaderboard. Car 6 leads after 220 laps. It's Toyota 1 and 2. It's the 6 Toyota first, followed by the 5 Toyota. Then it's the number 2 Porsche, which is starting to come back towards us now at 55 seconds. Our leading P2 is 6th overall. Nicolas Lapierre is behind the wheel of that. He is 6th overall. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, just notice that gap, 55 seconds. Yeah, Kobayashi obviously had a bad lap. He's 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds slower than the cars around him in that situation. So potentially some traffic coming up for Davison and Lieb as well.
Yeah, as you say, Mark Lieb is pressing on again. He's getting his head back into it. Matching Davidson's times, and they're both catching Kobayashi. So soon we could see, well, at least Davidson catching Kobayashi. He's only 15 seconds behind now, and it would be very interesting if he does catch him, what they're going to do.
Now we saw that side pod looking a little messy on the Toyota, and obviously aerodynamics and that bodywork is designed and shaped that way for the ultimate kind of flow through the air. And when you've got a bit of it missing and there's a bit of tape, race tape, kind of like holding it all together, it doesn't make 2 seconds a lap difference or 3 seconds a lap difference, I suspect, but it's obviously going to affect it somehow, because they wouldn't design it with raggy edges. They would design it with raggy edges.
Minimal, I think.
But yeah,
what we don't know is, in that contact, did he also touch the wheel? And did he have some lock on when he touched the wheel? And did it put the
tracking
slightly out or something like that, you know? Because, I mean, yeah, they can be very strong, durable cars, but, you know, you hit it on the weak point and the wrong angle, then you can, you know, just make those small changes that can add time to your lap time.
Wow. Kobayashi a 3:28. But then Davison's just done a 3:36 as well. Got a driver change. That's why he's just done a 3:36. He's in the pits. Got a bit of a shock there. He's in the pits. Got a new driver in the 5 car.
So Nakajima gone in.
Got 2 Japanese drivers out in Toyotas.
Yeah. Nakajima, obviously the son of Satoru Nakajima, who was, I think, Japan's best-known Formula 1 driver back in the day. And the crash time is virtually identical, isn't it, for his son? There's the Nakajima written over the top. This is the 69 car, which is leading because Fisichella came into the pits. Right. So it's going to be, he won't be leading much longer. So who's getting in this? Whoever's getting it's quite Bordy. Yeah, quite difficult to get into there. Yeah, it's quite a small car, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I've said this before, like the big drivers tend to drive the Porsches because it's like a TARDIS in there. It's really roomy, whereas the Aston's quite small. This Ford looks fairly small. I'm not sure what the Ferrari's like. Corvette, I think, is decent, a pretty big size because they've got big drivers like Ollie Gavin and that as well. Yeah, Ollie Gavin's quite tall, isn't he? He's had a quiet race, Ollie has. Yeah. Like, we've not seen much of him.
and that's another driver I haven't seen at all this week in the car.
So he's in the car now, car 64 in 8th place.
Look at the rear diffuser on that. That is just so cool. Fisichella back into the lead because of this stop here for the 68.
Right, I'm just having another look down in my hope that maybe Pat Long would reignite the battle between the Ferrari 62 and the Porsche 88. It hasn't happened because Jeff Segal just is wrapping off the 4-minute dead. And last one 401, and then Pat Long 404.
Oh, we've got 2 spinners. 67. They'll be in the gravel.
Formation.
Yeah, the P2 car took out and the Ford's going to keep it going. He's kept it out.
So
he got whacked.
Yeah, he did. That was unfortunate. It didn't seem to be.
He was lucky. 67.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Marino.
They've had a tough time.
I don't know who the other car was. I didn't see who the P2 was.
He didn't look to be to blame for that at all. He just got snagged from behind. Yeah, Fisichella back at the wheel of 82. Keeping his advantage over Bordy, who's just left the pits. Yeah, the fight for this GT Pro class looks to be still on course for a Ferrari or a Ford. Still too close to call, and then Darren Turner backing them up in position 4, so ready to pick up the pieces, but just simply not got the pace of the guys in front, so they're just pulling away a little bit by a little bit.
But it's only
and Richie Stanaway's come up to 5th as well in the other Aston, so yeah, they've had a good stint, you know, in the race, bringing them both up to a higher position, but as I said, just not quite got that pace.
Stefan Sarazan ready to take over the 6 car. Mark Lieb 50.9 seconds away from the lead. The 6 car having a driver change. Kobayashi on his way, pit bound by the looks of things. Nakajima on his outlap, just completed that. He's 1 minute and 40 away from the lead.
There's someone reacting that you will think they're coming. Sounds about right. Stephen Doyle, he loves the look of the Audi at this time because you can't really see it at night.
Oh yeah, I'm right with that. Right with that. That's just proper. Yeah, I have to say it's not the prettiest thing in the world. So this is the 6 car. I think he's going to be heading into the pits. And Kobayashi has had a good stint, but Mark Lieb is hunting him down. Incident involving cars 40 and 67 under investigation. That is,
yeah.
So it was 40 that took out. It was a Tracy Crone car that took out.
So who's again? That's on the lower page. Let's see who's on board.
Yeah, it is on the lower page. You know, who is in that car at the moment? Because they've just done a little pirouette. Here comes the 6 Toyota. It is heading towards. Well, Stefan Sarazan's ready and waiting, so I'd suspect it's heading towards the pit lane. Here he comes. He's just coming down pit road now. It's a left. It's a right. Then there's a small straight. Then there's another. Left and right. He is on pit road. How quickly can they get this done? Stefan Sarazan, heavy breathing there. He's got a big shift to pull in here as Stefan Sarazan, because they have a big chance of winning this race. But the Mark Lieb Porsche is absolutely flying Sarazan nicely and calmly into the car. Seatbelts Kobayashi just walking away, carrying his seat. That's what he's carrying, if you wonder what he was carrying. Oh, Stefan's not very happy with something. I don't know what he's waving.
I think he was just saying you missed a bit. Come on, get this bit.
You missed a bit. You missed a bit. Here comes the number 2 Porsche. Well, you need to go back a page on our results just to get it up. But the number 2 Porsche is going to take the lead, because if you look down the pit lane, you'll still see the number 6 Toyota is still in the pits. The number 2 car is now through into Dunlop and into first place. The tyres going on the 6th car. It's on the floor. It's away.
Sharp getaway.
It was a sharp getaway. Now, Mark Lieb will be probably entering like Tetru's area by now and onto Mulsanne. So the gap is a few seconds. Nakajima still got to make his way up. Just checking something else. Tushka still stopped that.
Of course, Mark stopped out of sync because of his puncture, so he's going to have to come in and
have to wait a couple of laps to see, won't we, to see where it plays out. 31 seconds between Fisichella and Bourdais in the pro category.
Yeah, I'm just again looking down to the AM class, and it certainly seems that at this stage of the race, the Ferrari's a car to have. There's quite a few of them there. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 6, and they're all lapping quite similarly and all faster than the Porsches around them.
Toyota studying the tyres that have come off that car and the wheels, I suspect. Yep, they're okay. Let's go and put some new Michelins on them for another stint. He's got 38 seconds, 38 and a half seconds is Mark Lieb over Sarrazin. Now, that's not really a pit stop. He's going to have to really push to get himself a pit stop. We've still got a long way to go. We're not looking at the last pit stop here. We've got hours of it. 9 hours, 46 minutes still to go of this race. And the first 3, we are 14 hours, 13 minutes in. And the first 3 are split by less than a minute after over 14 hours of racing. It is quite amazing that it's 1 Porsche versus 2 Toyota. The Audi, as Peter said not so long ago, isn't so far away of Degrassi. He's just sitting there in 4th place, hasn't had a clean run, but still there.
Lap times look decent, just plugging away. Nothing too special, not all that quick, but just knocking the lap times out very consistently. And just, yeah, I've seen this before. You know what? The last year and the year before, you go to bed and it's one set of positions, and then you get out of bed and you're like, you know,
what happened?
We've got 6 hours off after this, and it's all changed. And it's like, oh right, where'd that come from? Not to say it will happen this year, but yeah, these things do happen.
Gap's up to 40 now, nearly 41.
So I think that 13 Rebellion still stopped on the Mulsanne. It's looking terminal, I think. Gradually it's sinking down the times. It could be our, what, 5th retirement? Let's just check.
We haven't got many. There's one on that page. And then we've got to go to the final page.
Right, and we're hearing news from the pits that car 51, which is the Ferrari of Jimmy Bruni, is looking like it's finished as well. So that will be retirement number 6 if we count 13 as retirement.
And if you look,
and then we've got the 92 Bergmeister car, which
we know that's finished.
Yeah, so that's and then the 34. So actually, we have got quite a few. They're marked with P, as in they've made it back to the pits, but I'm not sure they're coming back out.
Some high-speed overtaking. "47 seconds a gap." Sarah's. And that was Sarazan's out lap, won't it? The 4:51. So 3:20. Lieb is flying. You look at Nakajima's time to Lieb's. We're on board just briefly with a Corvette there. A 3:23.389 to a 3:27.006. So Mark Lieb in this number 2 Porsche is flying. He knows he has to. GTE Pro classification, car 82, followed by 68, 69, 95, 96, and 64 is our top 6. Ollie Gavin in 6th place currently. So I'm just about to announce something to Peter. 4:30, you said in half an hour we're going to get the daylight. Still pitch black.
I'm sure they've got the time wrong here.
Well, it does look a bit strange, because I remember 2 years ago at 6 o'clock we were proper daylight at 6 o'clock. I know it's 45 minutes away.
In fact, I thought the ACO had authority to just switch the lights on when you wanted to have it on.
But it's still pretty dark out there.
I'm surprised.
I am surprised. So
it's that tint on our screen there.
Do you think?
Sure. Yeah, you look round. I'm sure that's light. That's lighter around there. Look.
You're going to turn the light off.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
We're going to turn the light off and just check.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's really dark out there.
That's really dark out there. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm sure that is getting lighter.
It must be, because it's heading towards morning. Well, we are in the morning. It's heading towards civilization of a morning. And Mark Lieb, Stefan Sarazan.
Do you want the light off or on? It's quite nice off.
Do you like it off?
We do it.
Yeah, I mean, if I need to look at some information, I've got a telephone with a torch on, but we'll see. Oh,
mind you, with
I've got a numb bum. I tell you, that's what I have got.
Nudge me if it looks like I might be falling asleep.
Yeah, that's it. So on with the Corvette. Let's just listen in a little bit.
Ollie Gavin at the wheel of this one. Of course, winner last year. Don't think he's going to, well, again, you never know. You just never know.
Do you know?
And they've come up quite nicely up to 6th place now.
Okay, Anthony has got somebody in the pits for us.
We are down in the Toyota garage with Kamui Kobayashi, who has just finished his stint. So Kamui, can you explain us more what happened on the car? So it seems you had some damage on the left of the car, I think. What happened?
Yeah, unfortunately, GTA arm I had just contact, and we just missed a bit of pace. We tried to fix it, but yeah, I think still a bit difficult. But anyway, still race is long, and we try to manage that.
How is the rhythm until now? We are really seeing Toyotas that are really, really fast.
What do you say?
The Toyotas are really, really fast. So what do you think about your rhythm?
Well, I think so far we're okay. Still, I think Porsche is looking fast as well, but we see still we got 8 hours. It's pretty long.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. He is not wrong. The Porsche
He is wrong.
What do you mean?
He said still got 8 hours. We've got 9.
Well, we've got 9
hours. 9 hours 40.
We've got 9 hours 40. So he is wrong on that, but he isn't wrong on the Porsche's fast, because the Porsche is a second and a half up on Sarazan and nearly 2.5 seconds up on the Nakajima Toyota.
Interesting what he said about the pace as well. He mentioned that they've lost a little bit of pace. We've got the number 8 pitting now, Degrassi. So
through that damage, he thinks.
Well, yeah.
Do you reckon it may damage a bit of the floor or something? So maybe it's damaged a little bit of the floor. I'm not really sure. So, but it was the repair that they did with the tape was high up and not down at the. No further action for the incident involving cars 40 and 67. So race control deciding that it was just a racing incident. The number 8 car in the pits, getting fuel. There's one of those windscreen rip-offs.
Wonder what Eduardo now is, whether he's wide awake, sitting, monitoring everything, or whether he's having a break himself. This is the race director I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't. Not really sure. Okay, so 9 hours 37 minutes and counting. Rebellion number 12 still being worked on in the pits. Here comes the number 7 car going very quick, 300 plus kilometers an hour down there and on this final part of the straight.
"12 laps down for this car now, though."
Yeah, it's a long way in it now. That's some pretty major repair work needed on other cars to bring these guys back into play. So we are split by a minute in our top 3 battle. Some people having hospitality and looking around. 7 in the pits. It is starting to get light now. If you look up above the tinted window.
Yeah, I knew it. See?
It was obvious it was going to get light. It's 5:30 nearly. 5:23.
It says, "Sure as day follows night."
7 on board with the, as he comes into the pits, quickly stops. You see the Michelin man taking photographs of the tyres. He just runs around and quickly has a look and takes pictures.
Checking the brakes again.
Thumbs up. Fuel going in. I've got a feeling it's just going to exit straight away once it's got its fuel in. That was another sharp getaway, wasn't it? That fuel hose, the guy only just kind of moving out of the way, and that car on its way, leaving the pits. So both Audis in. Oh, there's the Rebellion.
Yeah, car 12.
That's about the state we saw the Porsche in on Friday when it was being prepped for the race. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, maybe Anthony, you can go down and have a word and see what exactly is the issue.
That's got a big problem somewhere, that has. I mean, this guy's holding a side pod here, a side bit of bodywork, so he's obviously hoping something might happen soon. That's a pretty major bit of work going on, I think. Electrical fault. They are terrible, aren't they, to try and find. Here is the number 2 car. It is really, really going fast. Really going fast, and Anthony has found somebody else to talk to into the pit, so over to Anthony.
I keep busy during this night. I'm with Nelson Piquet Jr. In the Rebellion garage, so it's not working well, as we knew. So Nelson, what did happen on the number 12?
No, I mean, nothing special. We had a clutch failure earlier on through the race, and we had one now again, so unfortunately, yeah, it's just a little clutch issue that we're having, so having to change it again, and let's see, hopefully we won't have anything else at the end of the race.
Yeah, that's a shame, because of course Rebellion had a great chance to do well in this race, comparison to the races before earlier in this year. So what is your feeling, really? Are you disgusted?
I mean, we'll do the best we can. I mean, there's nothing to be sad about. I mean, the boys are doing a great job. You know, obviously we don't have, you cannot compare our technology to the hybrid cars. So we are in our own little world, but I think they're doing a good job. I mean, yeah, it would be good to do a race flawless without any problems, but it's Le Mans. It's very tough. It doesn't happen often. Even with the Porsche, one of them is not there. So I mean, and they obviously test much more than we do. So I mean, it's part of the game.
And to finish with a more optimistic thing, you're already experienced. You raced a lot of cars. What is it to drive this car, this Rebellion car?
It's a fun car to drive. It's very quick, challenging, but at the same time it's really fun because with the team was great atmosphere. The drivers, everybody were friends. I mean, it's not it's a little bit of a different situation from other teams. Over here we're to race well. Everybody here works hard. But important over here is to be happy and everybody's enjoying. And the whole company, Rebellion, puts a lot of effort over here, especially in WEC. And our goal is do as best as we can with what we have. And that's it.
Thank you very much, and have fun during the rest of the season. Thank you, Nelson.
Yeah.
You understood he was pretty frustrated.
Yeah, that is one way of putting it. Yep, frustration there for Nelson Piquet Jr. But disappointment more than anything, because as we touched on many a times, Peter, over the week and this weekend, it's such a massive event for these teams and drivers, and to have a car that's been pretty reliable on the first 2 rounds of the Endurance Championship, World Endurance Championship, granted, yes, only 6 hours each race, and then to have a problem here of such big problems, it's not good for them.
No, it is tough to take, but he seems pretty level-headed about it. He knows the score, and he did touch on the fact that they're working with a much smaller budget, a lot less testing, different technology, a lot more basic technology compared to the factory teams, and even they're having problems, the factory teams. So it's normal kind of thing, and this isn't a normal race circuit either. It's so we've got 2 in the pit, the leader, Mark Lieb. Yeah, this is a tougher race circuit than a normal race circuit because it's a lot longer, it's more bumpy, it's on a normal road. You're dealing with a lot more cars than normal, so all these factors come in. This looks like a standard stop for Mark Lieb, though.
It does, doesn't it?
Straight fuel. But we know he had a new set of tyre, or at least one tyre with a puncture anyway.
Yeah.
He might have only had one tyre. So we got a yellow zone at 32.
32, because it's got to be Porsche curves area. As what I was going to say is,
and then the leader Lapierre is just coming in as well.
Yeah.
36 of LMP2.
So Sarrazin has popped back into the lead, but only just. Mark Lieb will not be far away, but Lieb in between the 2 Toyotas now. But I was going to say something else. What were we talking about just before then? Before that Toyota went into the pits, and I can't think, but it doesn't really matter because I can't honestly not remember. I should have written it down when I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, not too valuable information that I was trying to get out of you, but never mind. It's the way it goes. So the 36 car is up to 6th place overall now, and that when we look down our first page of results, 5 cars from P1, and then there's just a whole host of P2s. And interestingly, our leading pro car, that was up in as high as 18th overall at one point, but now down in 20th. Obviously, some of the P2 cars coming back at the pro cars.
And the Audi number 7 has come back up the order as well.
So a few bits of bobs changing. 33 seconds is the gap between our leading pro car and our 2nd place pro car. That is Fisichella de Bourdais. And then we had the battle that we haven't got the time quite up on the board But the battle that Peter was looking forward to most between the 62 and the 62 Ferrari and the 82 Porsche, and didn't really materialize yet. Okay, so news from the Mulsanne Straight. Well, news from the pit lane via the Mulsanne Straight is Matteo Tuska, who is in that rebellion that is parked on Mulsanne Straight. We saw it going in behind the barrier, getting pushed in behind the barrier. He is on the telephone to the engineer, and he is working on the car. That doesn't mean he's going to fix it, but he's trying everything he can to fix it. And in about half an hour's time, working on that car is going to become so much easier, because it's going to be daylight. At the minute, he's going to probably be trying to hold the phone, hold a torch at the same time, whatever he's trying to fix or do. Once the daylight properly comes, at least he'll be able to not have to worry about holding a torch. I mean, it's not light enough at all out there. He'll have a bit of light now, natural light, but not really enough. He's got a small bit of natural light to help him, but not enough if he's delving inside cockpits and things like that to try and find something. Yeah, Anthony said that's why rally drivers could do Le Mans. Yeah, quite a lot of driving in the dark and fixing of cars. Just noticed there, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth in P2, Simon Dolan. They kind of sneaked up there in their car. They got the Rushanov car in 20 in third, and then the Simon Dolan car in fourth. Danny Watson fifth. So plenty going on there. Into the pits is the 31 car. Our leader on in P2 on an outlap. Yeah, there's just a bit of light now starting to appear on track. That does seem later than I remember 2 years ago, if I'm really honest.
Yeah, I think it does. Because also, bearing in mind, we're at probably the
longest
summer,
day of the year,
summer
kind of
equinox-y thingy-majiggery. Summer solstice, is that what it's
something
called?
like that, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I always kind of was led to believe rightly or wrongly. Okay, car number 12.
So yeah, considering
when we just saw it in all those bits in the pits not so long ago, he's getting itself organised and back on track.
So that clutch, well, I mean, they obviously had practice the first time around, and they've put another new clutch into it. Will it last 9 hours 25 till the end? Or that's the question.
I was trying to work it out, right? We're 14 and a half hours in. It's had 2 clutches. It's not going to last. If they've used 2 already, it's not going to last again, is it? You're going to have to change it again, I would think. But it's Stefan Sarazan who leads at the moment. 229 laps in the book. Kazuki Nakajima is second. It's 9.3 seconds. But then Mark Lieb, look at that. That has come down with all the pit stops finished. 11.8 seconds is between the first and the third place car. And this is the number 2 Porsche we're on board with. Get out the way, the Ferrari, Mark Lieb is thinking. He's only a couple of seconds behind Nakajima, as you can see on there. The last split they had was 2.795. What is it going to be? This Porsche is on an absolute mission. This is Porsche's only chance to win this race, because the number 1 car is floating around the rear end of the field, having stopped for not far off, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours with problems. Team Radio, Porsche.
The real lights of Toyota are way too bright. They're way too bright. Crazy. Copy marks.
Well, I said that about an hour and 20 minutes ago, didn't I? They're really bright. They are really bright. You don't have to worry about it too much, Mark, because in about half an hour you will be out of the darkness and you won't have to worry about those Toyota lights. I would say in about not even half an hour's time, you don't even have to wait for the darkness to disappear and the light to come, because I think the speed you're going at, you're going to have Kazuki Nakajima very, very soon.
That's the thing, some of those P2 cars and GT cars, we don't hear from them very much on the radio. But do you think they're saying, that Porsche number 2's lights are just too bright? I bet they are.
I bet they are. the Sarazan just heading on to start another lap. That's lap 230. Nakajima following him through. And there is the Porsche already behind him. The top three after how many hours? 14 hours, 36 minutes, 12.2 seconds apart. And you wonder why it's the greatest endurance race in the world. It is just fantastic. Scott Dixon in for a fuel top up and on his way out. Nothing else happened there. Dixon in third at the minute. It's a little bit away from what is going on with Bourdais in second place. Bourdais 32 and nearly 33 seconds down on the leader as well.
Yeah, nothing happened in GT Pro for quite a while. Same with GT Am. All positions still the same. Segal, Long and Aguas. Pat Long again. I was hoping he could sustain a quicker pace than that, but he just
really
doesn't have the pace of the Ferraris around him, so he's gradually getting caught. Although he's got a decent gap. We did hear about the Aguas car having issues early on, where they lost a lap or two, but they've fought back, and they're one of the quicker cars out there just now.
There's a very quick car on Mulsanne Straight. Gap actually gone up a little bit. Obviously the Porsche may be stuck in a little bit of traffic. It is 12.8 seconds, or Nakajima's had the hurry up, but here comes the Porsche. All of these cars on very slightly different pit stop strategies. Toyota can stretch their stops out, but then Davidson's car, the 5 car, which Nakajima's in now, had a vibration on the tyres, had to do an additional stop. This car you're in with, the car 2, had to do an additional stop after 5 laps because they had a slow puncture. There's the other 2 teammates just relaxing, chilling out.
Bernard and Gianni. Gianni probably needs that Red Bull about now.
Yeah,
I could do with one.
He needs something, because who will be next into the car? I'm trying to think.
These for me are the hardest hours because just before the sun comes up, this is when you're feeling kind of as we feel right now. You're tired, but as the sun comes up and daylight comes back, suddenly you get this rush of energy again, and actually it's not a problem, and you know you can make it to the end. Yeah, we're hearing from the pits that Dumas is looking pretty tired as well. He's waiting for that sun to come up, get that energy back.
It is amazing. I mean, we keep looking in at the Porsche garage, and the drivers do seem to be in their Porsche garage most of the time. It's a big team effort in there, and they kind of like, we're going to stay in here thick and thin and relax. I suspect they do go. Do they go and have showers? Do you have showers between stints? Yeah, you change your overall showers and things like that, and come back into the garage.
So that's the leading AM car. I mean, they're so far ahead now that they have a pit stop and they don't lose position. They've, if they just keep doing what they're doing, they're looking quite good. And then the leading 82 car, the Pro Ferrari of Fisichella. Bourdais trying to close the gap on him a bit. He's 30 seconds behind, but
so he's just taken 1.1 out of him in the previous lap. That is still a battle going on. As you said, the GT AM category, which is orange on your results screen when you're looking at it, the orange tab means it's GT Amateur. That gap is kind of pretty stable now. There's not really a battle on track as that. There is obviously battles depending on what goes on around it. The big battle, Lieb is losing a little bit of time. The Toyotas have picked up the pace, unless Lieb's been stuck in traffic. But it's now up to 13.7 seconds. Remember, that gap was down at 10. I mean, don't get me wrong, 13.7 to 10 is not a lot when you're looking at a 24-hour race. But we've got to remember, Toyota potentially are going to be able to do at least one less stop than the Porsche. So it is going to be interesting. The Toyota's stretching it out but not everyone has had a plain sailing run, so to speak. There's been small little issues, mainly with tyres or vibrations on tyres. So that is it. We are getting some light now out there, even though it doesn't still really look it from our commentary box. You can now see the bridge.
You can pretty much see everything. So this is good. I'm surprised not more fast times. Some fastest laps of cars are going in, but I think they'll be coming pretty soon.
Yeah, because a lot of them have had fresh tyres on. Okay, news from Anthony in the pits that the 13 car is not going any further. It is out. The 13 car parked on Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah.
And it's going to remain parked there. The 26 car is in the pits. Where is the 26 car? Third at the moment in P2.
Yep, rushing off at the wheel.
Yeah,
one thing I was going to explain about the amateur category.
Yeah, go on.
That, of course, drivers are graded as a certain, so there's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And each AM car has to have a bronze. You can have a silver and a gold or platinum, or you can have 2 silvers, but you can't have 2 golds or 2 platinums in with a bronze. So it has to be a mixture. So, for instance, the 88 car, Pat Long in the Porsche, is a platinum driver, and his teammates will be, let me just have a quick look. So of course I switched the light off so I can't see.
Yeah, I've got the torch on.
Kabezi will be the bronze driver, and David Heinemann Hansen will be the silver driver. So that's kind of how all the amateur cars work, that there's 1 gold or platinum and a silver and a bronze.
Okay, right. They're starting to move around again at the front of the field. The gap between Sarrazin and Nakajima is less than 6 seconds. And then also Mark Lieb seems to have got some clear. Must have been traffic, because he's now taking it from 14 seconds down to 11.6. And you might sit there at home watching and listening and thinking, these guys are getting quite excited about 13, 11s and 12 seconds is when we still have 9 hours, 15 minutes to go. But just turn that round the other way. 14 hours and 45 minutes nearly on the clock, and the top 3 are split by 11.5 seconds. It is quite staggering, you know what I mean? It's like, it's less than a second an hour that they've pulled out.
Yeah.
When you don't look at it what's still to come, look at it at what's gone and the gap, and it makes it even more impressive, because in another, if the Porsche keeps going and the rate that they've been catching each other, this could be about 3 seconds after another 9 hours between these cars at the rate that we're going. They're only able to pull out less than half a second per hour out of these drivers. And you think that everything that's gone on.
I'm just looking at Sarrazin's times and thinking, you know, this guy's quick. He's one of the quickest drivers around this track. And he's not able to match Nakajima and Lieb, or not all the time anyway. So it just leads me to believe that, yeah, that little ding that Kobayashi had with the car is affecting performance. It is true. And he's just not able to quite, he's maybe losing a second a lap or something like that. And that's, you know, that could be the difference between a win and not winning, you know, and being caught by your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, I just do wonder. It's above the number 6 on that side. You can see now. Basically, he collected. He didn't say what car he'd had a contretemps with, but it was with an amateur car. And around that number 6, the top of the number 6, down the side and the bottom, the bodywork is a bit messy. The 1 car coming into the pits, it is still running. The 1 car in the pits, that's Mark Webber in that car, I believe. I need to flick the screen. I mean, it's just so disappointing that we're not even talking about the 1 car. It is Webber. It is down in 45th place or something like that. Huge disappointment. But 12.5 seconds between the 3 of them. But yeah, when you look at the Toyota, where that 6 is on what would be the left-hand side of the car going in race direction, there is bodywork damage there. It's not a lot. It's hard to see, apart from when the car stopped. But I just wonder whether the floor, they don't make these cars with these funny shapes on them for no reason, and that is not 100%. Look at this, here comes the Porsche, and the Nakajima car's been caught up in that traffic, and the Porsche will probably get the first one before. That is the Toyota's only just up there with the bright lights. Remember Mark Lieb saying the lights are too bright? They're really bright compared to everything else. Mark Lieb might get one of these, just be careful. No. He kind of half backed out of it, didn't he, did the 22. The Toyota lights are much brighter than anything else. You see they are, but Mark Lieb was mentioning that before. The gap, 12.1 seconds.
You're right, though. He did lose out from that traffic. I think Nakajima got it through it a lot cleaner.
Oh,
that's wide. That could be. That could be a wee warning.
Yeah, that was wide. Sarazan, we were just saying, you see 4 seconds difference on the last lap, Sarazan to Nakajima. That's the difference between traffic and no traffic. Sarazan's now over 10 seconds in the lead, whereas before he was down to 5. So big differences when you get stuck with 2 or 3, be it P2s or GTE cars. It's just fantastic, just fantastic. Lapierre still leads in P2. It's a 36 car out front. It's still the Fisichella 82 car out front in the Pro category. In the AM category, it's still a 62 Seagull car, the Ferrari. Let's just have a look at these stats. Nakajima's been in the car for 41 minutes. Lieb's been in 127 minutes. Total pit stop times, 21 minutes 58 for the Toyota, 23 minutes 30 for the Porsche. Last pit stop, 11 laps ago for Nakajima, 4 laps ago for Mark Lieb. He's making the most of that freshness. He didn't change tyres, but just a kind of bit of fuel on there. Let's push it, let's keep it going. What's it down to? The gap, 3.32 between second and third. Sarazan maintaining that gap. We've just got to see what this lap is. Remember, Nakajima stuck in traffic, which then Lieb got stuck in. Lieb probably got through it a little bit quicker than Nakajima. Nakajima woke him up. And that is not the Toyota in front. The Toyota is the bright lighted car, just one in front. Still a P2 between these two. Mechanics from both teams looking on. There's Neil Yanni with the crash helmet and the seat already waiting on the floor. And there's nothing you can do about it, is there? You're just sat there watching it.
Yeah.
Total trust and total belief in that guy who's in the car when you're not.
Well, you're not even thinking, you know, it's out of your control. So for me, I don't even think about it. It's just like, well, when he brings the car in, I'll get in the car. If he doesn't bring the car in, then I won't get in the car. Simple as that.
That Porsche did catch that other car in a real awkward place. But he's got through it. He'll get the other one here as well. There's the Toyota through the Ford chicane. There is the Porsche, past the Porsche hospitality, that huge Porsche hospitality.
See, it's always a bit easier. When you're chasing a car down like that, you can always just find a little bit extra. But when you're the one being chased down, it's that bit harder.
And particularly, I would say a bit more maybe in the dark, because, yeah, you know it's the bright headlights in the car behind. But in the daylight, you can just kind of see, you're not straining as much, you're not getting distracted as much by the lights. But Sarazan going away, you were commenting, I mean, Sarazan's obviously had a couple of clean laps, traffic-wise in perfect positions, and clean driving laps. Sarazan's now nearly 12.3 up. That was down to 5 before.
He is still 2 seconds off the fastest lap in that car. And okay, that could be traffic, but yeah, I'm surprised that the times aren't falling yet.
Mark Lieb on a mission.
Suddenly this race has come back alive as the daylight's coming back into it.
Yeah, and it came
it's almost like
alive.
part 2 of the race.
Yeah, it came alive when we came in for our first stint at 6 o'clock, because that was when the Porsche just started to take the lead and really start to kind of work their way in. And then it was just a bit of a slow burner, wasn't it? Everyone kind of like seeing where they were. But now it really is starting to wind up, and they're just starting now to catch very slowly Sarrazin. Now they're out of that traffic. Car 5, Nakajima. 9 hours, 8 minutes to go. Mark Lieb just getting some more traffic there, because he's now, the gap is 3.3. Here he is, it's clear. The bright lights in front are the Toyota. Mark Lieb complaining the lights are too bright on the Toyota. And that is what he can follow now. He'd be quite pleased they're bright now, because he can see his target. And when you look at them, they are much brighter, those lights, compared to the other car.
Was he talking about the rear lights, or was he talking about the front?
No, he's talking about the rear lights. Because when the Toyota brakes, the rear lights are, I mean, you can see how obvious they are when they go past the P2 down here. That is really obvious. And,
what was he said? They're ridiculous or something.
They're ridiculously bright. They're too bright. And he was behind the Toyota at the time. The gap again, Sarrazin taking a bit more. Lieb losing a little bit more. Toyota ready. Now, Sarrazin won't be far off, I don't think, having a pit stop. It's looking all pretty calm in there. Drivers waiting around. Not doing any work in that garage, which is quite rare for this stint, because they've had quite a bit of going on. And you think Lieb's done an extra pit stop with that puncture, that slow puncture that he had.
Yeah.
So he's slightly out of sync, and an extra.
You know, that probably drove him on, and he drove harder. He knew that he was disadvantaged, and he just
catching cars. They just seem to be catching cars in the wrong place all the time. He's still got the bright lights of the Toyota in front. Toyota's in the pits. Toyota's. Oh no, it's not. I thought the Toyota. Yeah, it is. I thought I saw it peeling off. So he's got to really go for it now.
So that actually he's catching his teammate, isn't it? That's the other. Yeah, that's the number one. The number one Porsche just behind him.
Right. Okay. Here we go. I thought I saw the bright tail lights peeling off. Windscreen clean, headlight clean. Just looks like it's
just fuel and go. Yeah.
It's just going to be fuel and go. Now look. Try and look where the 5 is compared to how neat the 5 is on this car to the 6 on the Sarrazin car, because that's where the damage is on the Sarrazin car from the AM car that they hit. And it is missing. It is a lot messier when you look. The top's all missing on the Sarrazin car round there. It is a lot messier, the Sarrazin car. I mean, the gaffer tape isn't a fix for aerodynamics on that. But what do you got to change? That's got to be the whole side pod, so you're not going to change it, is it? You're just going to leave that.
Too much time.
That's far too much time. So Lieb, now Sarrazin's lead 16 seconds because it is the Nakajima car come into the pits. So let's see what is going on. Nakajima on an outlap on our timing screens. Here is the 6 car. The damage is not very much, but it's around the 6 on the left-hand side where Kobayashi had he collected somebody somewhere. I don't even think he knew, because he couldn't tell Anthony, could he, who he did? But he had hit somebody in the dark, banging wheels. And it's kind of stuck together. There's a hole in the floor, look. At the end of the black bit, there's a hole in the floor. So that is why it's not super perfect. Now we've got daylight. We can see that for the first time. So it's not wounded very badly, but it's not perfect like the Nakajima car.
Just starting to get some fastest time going in. Matt Griffin, we haven't talked much about him in car 55, down in 6th place in the AM category. He's just done his fastest time of the race.
Bourdais catching.
And Bourdais,
he's catching. I mean, it's only 2 or 3 seconds in the last couple of laps, but he is going towards Fisichella.
Yeah.
What's happening in your AM battle that you thought Long was going to do? It doesn't seem to be going very well, does it? No.
He's just losing 3 seconds a lap, basically, to the Ferraris.
Dear me. So, right, before we swap over, Peter, everyone talks about it. Happy hour. It's not the happy hour at 6 o'clock in the evening, it's the happy hour at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why?
Well, I think we've talked about it a bit already. It's when conditions are cool, the track's gripped up, and it's before the track really heats up and the tires start to go off. And yeah, it's just when the fastest times start going in, and it's different all the time. But you got to say from maybe it's like 2 hours, maybe it's like 6 till 8 before it really heats up. It just depends on the weather, I suppose.
And you've said a couple of times as we were going in, nice little slide there from the Ford. It makes such a difference once you get through the night and you get the daylight as well. Psychologically, it's kind of like that's a big hurdle.
Yeah, you can push to the absolute final millimeters on the track and use everything and just pick up a 100th here and there, and it just adds to a better lap time.
Okay, this is the Fisichella car.
82, so yeah.
Driver change.
So Bordy takes a lead momentarily anyway, and looks like they're putting a new driver in there. Didn't quite see who it was.
Let me just check. Let me just double check.
Is that Vielander? Probably Vielander going back in.